I just got done editing. Do I need to adjust this? What is gain? What does gain do? Is this better? I think. I don't really know. And I also know that these headphones don't look great either. Maybe I'll just go without them. That was a really awesome podcast with Micah Reyes. I just got done editing it. I don't like to repeat myself, or sound repetitive or, seem disingenuous. But a few of the things that I took away from the episode with Cole, I feel largely the same way with Micah. I mean, there's large differences. I mean, Micah's about 10 years older than Cole. So, just his worldview and his perspective about life and substance abuse and everything like that, it's a lot different. But the one thing that I took away from both episodes is that you can never underestimate the resilience of the human spirit. You can drag yourself into the depths of hell, and if you put enough work in, and if you want it bad enough, you can get back to where you want to be, and you can be even better than you once were. And it's really important to never lose sight of that. Micah Reyes' story is absolutely fascinating. Growing up in Turkey, the thing about people who grow up in so many different places, even just different states within the United States, there's just something about their worldview that is so unique because, for example, if you spend your whole entire life in Western Washington, there's an approximate worldview and perhaps political view that you'll reach. So when you go there and you meet people who have been living there their entire lives, there's kind of a lot of common traits between them. In general, I would say. But people who have lived in so many different states or even countries, they develop a worldview that is so unique. And I found that to be the case with Cole and Micah. And then, somebody I went on a Hinge date with a few weeks ago. When you're immersed in all these different cultures, the accumulation of all those experiences is such an interesting final product, Micah Reyes, he took himself into the depths of hell and he scratched and clawed his way out, and he's such an accomplished person now with a life trajectory that's so admirable. So yeah, I guess that's the overarching theme of the episode you're about to watch. I have a food review coming soon to YouTube, guys. But this is the Verbal Journal with Micah Reyes, episode 2. Enjoy.
Why'd you have to go away? So I'm meeting up with my brother and his girlfriend. We're doing like a double date at like 4:45.
Yeah.
And Michaela wanted to go up, I think, Rafter Mountain, and she wants to take some pictures for her yoga. She like has her website like basically put together. And I'm like, damn girl, like she's been putting in work on this shit. It's like looking really good. So she's gonna start teaching online Zoom classes. She's doing a test run like with her family on I think this next week.
That's awesome.
She's gonna see just like check out all the technical difficulties, like cameras, make sure it's not like laggy or anything. I told her if she needs like a more powerful laptop, she can just use mine, and all that other stuff. But yeah, we're both just kind of on the grind.
Bettering yourself, that's that's huge. It's everything.
Yeah. Can I show you a motivational clip real quick?
Yeah, absolutely.
This is like my mantra, bro. It's like, it just hits so hard, dude. Like every time I listen to it, I'm just like, yeah, man, like I got this, like I can do this.
When I understood this philosophy, learn to work harder on yourself than you do on your job. That's the simple philosophy that changed my life forever starting age 25.
My fucking mantra.
If you work hard on your job, you can make a living, which is fine. If you work hard on yourself, you can make a fortune, which is super fine. I didn't mind working hard on my job, but things didn't seem to change that much. Then I started working hard on myself to qualify. So let me put it in a philosophical phrase now. This is worth the price of whatever it costs for you to be here today. Here it is. Success is something you attract. Success is not something you pursue. It's something you attract by becoming attractive. And the whole scope of this we call now personal development. You can have more than you've got because you can become more than you are. If you can multiply your value by 3, by 5, you can easily multiply your income by 3, by 5, by 10. But the key to doing it is to work hard on yourself. Be responsible, be a growing, attractive, powerful, skillful, communicating human being, and the world belongs to you. Big change for you.
Every day, bro.
I love that, dude.
Every day.
I fucking love that. That's amazing. As I traveled to like Armenia and Turkey last year, that's what I realized is like the biggest difference between those cultures and our culture is that like the American culture is so it supports the idea of being a workaholic.
Yeah.
But there it just doesn't. Like there, like a regular office job, mostly in Armenia, but somewhat in Turkey, from what I heard. An office job will start at like 10 or 11 a.m. Having a life after work is like so supported, and it's like it's just wild because we've created a society where we think it's like virtuous to like only have a life like inside your job.
I was watching this like this other one too, was basically saying like basically in America, like as the culture goes, we're almost like groomed, like the way they put it is like groomed into like a cult, which is basically like somehow we've all agreed to work like 40, 50 years or whatever of our lives or whatever just to like get the last 10 to 15 to ourselves when we're already old and like can't do as much. So it's like I always try to tell people like, you know, you can always make more money, but like it's good to have experiences. Like go travel. Like even if you're struggling a little bit, still try to go travel. Still try to go out and do things. But like I mean, still you have to grind and like you know things you have to pay for. But it's like it's just like this whole thing where if you're not working and like doing all this thing, then you're considered lazy. You're considered you know like apathetic or just like you're not interesting or something like that. But really, it's just like it's just a different perspective, you know.
I'm sure you've met people who have, you know, they have money, but there's not much like substance, you know. Their whole life, like all of their being is swallowed up into what they do in exchange for currency. You know.
Yeah. So even dad and my dad personally, so like dad is like the definition of a workaholic. He's already gotten like he has like a 20-year retirement already in the military, and now has another 20-year retirement in basically he's a contractor. He's like a GS employee, and he's like
GS. What is GS?
It's like a government. It's like government. What does the S stand for? I'm not sure. It's basically just a government position though, and he's like basically almost equivalent to what my dad was in the military, just as a civilian. Okay. And but yeah, he's just like, and then my dad's retired, but like doesn't know what to do with himself. So he's like has to work. He's got to do something. He can't like just relax. Like he's turning 67 this year or 68, and he's just like can't like he doesn't know like what to do with his time, and he can't like just relax. So he's coaching like 2 volleyball teams, and he was like working at the church and like doing all this other stuff, and like man, he's just hanging out with mom. Like you've been doing this like your whole life, man. Like just like take her and like go on vacations. Like you're making plenty of money. I know you guys can like go travel the world now.
Is he? Like, you know that they're in that type of position.
Yeah, dude. Like he's making at least just $10K a month now for the rest of his life. You know. So it's just like
because of pension,
retirement,
right?
And he had 100% disability, like in the military, and so like I know he's making fantastic money, but I'm just like my mom and him, like I know they want to be around the grandkids and like close to us, but I'm like man, like I just want them to just like go somewhere for like a month, like you guys just go travel and be free while you guys still can, and it's just hard for him to just like relax.
It's hard to turn it off, I guess, and it's just go.
You've done that your whole life, and then you're just like. Comes to an abrupt stop, you're just like, oh shit, like what do I do? Everything was so tied up into his work and military life, like and I think he kind of misses like he was in a position of like authority. He was like a high ranked officer, and so like I think he kind of misses that. He misses like just like the constant like respect and the saluting and everything else, and
it's so regimented in the military too. I mean, it's so like
it's a brotherhood.
You have a routine. And it's not only do you have a routine, it's a very intense way of being, So it's just, I could imagine how it's hard for him to like to just relax. But it's good that he's not, you know, it's good that he's not like occupying his time with some super boring job.
Yeah.
You know, it's good that, you know, because you said he really likes volleyball. So it's cool that he's like coaching and, you know, and then giving back to the church, which is like, you know, that's a community in itself.
Yeah.
And I in the last decade, I like kind of let go of religion, but also like in the last like 3 years, I've realized like the power in it and the purpose in it. Because a lot of people, I mean, maybe you'd have some perspective on this. A lot of people that are like going through really hard things, maybe they're in the throes of addiction. Sometimes they'll find God, and like that's what brings them out of the depths of hell, you know, and it gives them the strength to be like, okay, I can get over this. Yeah. I can get through this. I know people in my life that's happened to. So I realize the power of religion for sure. Yeah. It's an amazing thing.
Yeah, like the first thing they say, like when you're like in rehab and going through like AA meetings and AA meetings, stuff like that, is like, you know, to like accept that you're an addict, and then like that, and there's like something greater than you. It's like you need that. It's all about like finding this higher power, like whatever it is, whether it's like whatever God, from however you interpret it. It's just like basically believing something that's bigger than yourself, and then like using that to help you like just get through all sorts of stuff. And it's sometimes it's like a little weird, like some people are really like hardcore into it, but I mean, I do think it's healthy for people, like in the long run. It's just good to like just believe that there's something bigger than you. You know, then you're just not alone. Like, I think that's like the most important thing for people, like is the loneliness and the isolation, and just feeling that like you're by yourself is like what really hurts the most for a lot of people, I think.
Yeah, I would imagine being addicted to something that's extremely hard to get off of. I would imagine that's the most lonely, isolating feeling in the entire world, right? I mean, would that be your perspective about it?
Yeah, like, and even when you are like getting high and like doing things, and you're just you're just sitting there and it's like, fuck, like sometimes you like don't even want to do it, you regret it, but then you don't want to have withdrawal, you don't want to feel the pain from being off of it. So it's this constant battle, like, fuck, like, why am I doing this? And then you're all fucked up, and you're like, man, like, it's a dark place, man. It just keeps you and gets you deeper and deeper into that hole. It gets harder to get out. That's
what Cole was saying as well. Yeah. He didn't even want to do cocaine sometimes, but he just did out of habit. Yep. You know, it's crazy. Yeah. It's absolutely crazy.
Yeah, I'd always save like a little bit of dope. Like I would like, you know, go get high and everything else, and then I'd always make sure I had like a little bit, like a half of a baggie's worth, just so in the morning I could wake up and like know I had it. And then like if I didn't have that little bit to do in the morning, just to cut off the edge and not make me feel bad, then like I couldn't even like get out of bed, like brush my teeth, like get ready for the day, like. And then like my baby mama at the time, because we were both addicted, and then like she'd be like, oh, like let me get some, like in the morning. I'd be like, you literally know, like I saved this for the morning, like no, this is for me. And then we'd start fighting because she wants some of it. She's hurting, but she wanted to do her drugs the day before, and it's like,
oh my
you
God.
know, and it's like it's just man, it's toxic, and it's hard to get out of that.
That's crazy. And were you know, and I want to circle back to the beginning, but I'm so curious about this. Is it the most dangerous thing to be doing it with somebody because you're just enabling each other so hard?
Yeah, I do think that's true. Because I remember, like, she asked me, like, I like kept it from her for a long time. Like, she knew, like, I had taken like some opioids, like I'd take pills and stuff like that. And but I think like there was just like one day she like just noticed I was like really messed up, and then she could see like the track marks on my arm, and then she like asked me, she's like, I want to try it, and I was like, no, I was like, you don't want to do this. I was like, you don't want to try this. And like, but also like in the back of my head, I'm like, well, shit, if she likes it, then I don't have to like I don't have to keep it a secret anymore. I don't have to be like, you know,
it's an us thing.
Yeah, now it's like, it's okay, I can do it around here, and I'm like, I'm like safer now or something like that. And then, yeah, and like I remember like the first time she did it, dude, like I shot her up, and she was just on the toilet for like 2 hours just puking because it was just strong. And then like I was like, oh man, she's gonna hate it. And then as soon as it's done, she's like, man, that was awesome. I'm like, how? Like, you were just throwing up for just 2 hours, like, nonstop, basically. Like, how was that awesome? You know what I mean? Like, but like, you know, that euphoric feeling, like, it's such like an intense rush, and like, that's like what you get addicted to, honestly. Like, I was honestly almost more addicted to getting the setup, man. I'd like, as soon as I'd get my drugs, I'd like, you know, I'd get my fucking spoon, I'd get like my cotton, I'd get my fucking needles, like, get it all ready to go. And it was like the whole process of putting it in the water and like heating it up and getting it, and then put it into your vein, pulling out, and like seeing you got the blood, knowing that you're in there, and you're like, oh, and then it's just like that. It was almost like I was more addicted to that than the actual like feeling. It was like it was like a weird relationship, but
because does the intense feeling of getting high after a certain point, is it just exhausting, just going through that extreme emotion all the time?
I mean, I think it is, but like, man, like, when you have like the drugs in front of you, then that's like when like nothing else matters anymore. Like, you just know that you're gonna be able to feel good, and then for like a big chunk of my 20s, man, I just was not feeling any emotions or anything, man. Like, I didn't, like, it's so easy to just brush stuff off because like, I'm there now, like, I feel good, I'm high, like, I don't have to worry about anything, I don't owe anybody anything, I don't got to do anything for myself, like, and then do that for a long time, man. Yeah, it'll break you down.
And that's so interesting because, you know, because for a lot of people, their 20s, it represents like a certain thing, but you just have a completely different perspective about it. That's just the reality of it. Same with Cole, you know?
Yeah.
I mean,
he's still young. How old is Cole?
22.
He's 22, yeah. So like, I'm glad he's like doing this now.
Yeah.
Like, it's good that like if he can like get it together, then he still has a good long line. Like, I didn't really like get fully clean until about like 28. And so then like I had, or like 27, 28, and then it wasn't until like I moved up here, where like I really just like completely just for like the longest time. Basically, since I moved up here, I haven't like touched like anything. I haven't done any like of that like hard stuff. And like Michaela met me like right when I was like in my peak. I feel like I was just doing good. I was just taking care of myself, focusing on myself, healing myself.
2 years ago, a year ago.
When I met Michaela, no, I met Michaela when I was like when I was 29.
Okay.
Yeah, so I still met her in my 20s, and she was 23, or she just turned 23, and then basically since then, man, I've just been, you know, I went to school, graduated, I finished up like all like my court stuff, like everything's done. I haven't gotten in trouble, and now I'm just looking for work, and I feel good. Like, I love myself. I mean, I had like years of counseling as well. I think that's super healthy for people to like be able to vent. Like, if you know, if you don't have like your parents to talk to, if you don't have like a good friend to talk to, like, honestly encourage like a therapist or just going to counseling. Like, honestly, just having a non-biased listener and someone that's just genuinely there to just help you. Like, they want to just give you advice and give you ideas to try and improve yourself. And, you know, like, some people are so like against that. Like, I don't need to talk to a shrink, or I don't need to, you know, but it's like, dude, like, it's not even like that. It's like, it's just, everyone is hurt or going through something emotionally in their lives that, you know, whether it's just like trauma or something that's just been suppressed. Like, you know, everyone has something, man. And it's like, you know, I think that's just important to be able to just like get that out. Like, you know, I've held in so much in my life, and I've just like, since I was a little kid, not dealing with like emotions and just always turning to drugs and alcohol and things like that. Like, you know, it's like learning how to relive again. I know we've discussed this a little bit, but yeah, it's just like, you know, it's gonna be tough.
And did that start from when you were like very young, like 14, 15, where you just, you know, drinking with your friends and you know, smoking cigs and fucking. So so you come from a military family, and I know you lived in Turkey for a while, because it was funny because I was showing you my Hinge profile, and I have a picture in Cappadocia, and you immediately knew it was Cappadocia. Yeah. And I guess
penis rocks.
Yeah. And it is a very distinct place, because it looks, okay, the way I thought about it is it reminds me a little bit of Star Wars. You know, like those like caves where they live, you know what I'm talking about? It's very, and it shows like how amazing it is, how amazing of a place it is, because it's extremely touristy, and when a place is super touristy, it kind of waters down how amazing it is, in my opinion. But there was like signs, or it's like tours, like call this number, go on a tour. It's like in English, you know, it's for Americans, but still it was like an extremely captivating place. And so
Yeah, you can't forget it. Like once you get there, dude, it's like
it's a tie. We went to 4 cities. It's a tie between Istanbul and Cappadocia. They're polar opposites.
Yeah.
But Istanbul is like, it's like a New York type of place where you take the metro, and it's just an incredible place.
It's a big city.
So did you live in multiple cities in Turkey?
No, so I basically just stayed on the military base, and it's in Incirlik, which the closest big city to that was Adana. So we were like really southern Turkey, like close to the Mediterranean.
Okay.
So like whenever we went to the beaches, it was always in the Mediterranean, which was amazing. And
Keep going.
so I just lived there, but I mean, we just traveled like all around. Especially my dad being like a chaplain in the military, he went to like a lot of these like historical sites that are like in the Bible, and got to see like all these like fascinating things that people talk about, or where like these specific like prophets lived, and stuff like that. But I've been to Ankara, Istanbul, like Adana, like Tarsus,
through just traveling around.
Been to Cyprus, like Egypt, like other places in Europe. Like I got to do a lot of stuff when I was a kid. So like I really want to go back now as like an adult and just be able to like go and see like things I want to go see.
Right.
And but yeah, dude, it was amazing to live there, because that was my first time being exposed to like another country. And I mean, I don't know, is Turkey considered a third world country? I feel like it's not like that bad, you know what I mean? Like
No.
There's like certain areas that you could probably call like third world, but just seeing that culture and just seeing it different, like really like helped shape the way just I treat people and think about things. Like, because there are some people in the States that have never even left like their state they were born in.
Yeah. Totally.
And they just don't know. And like I feel like it leaves this level of ignorance for some people. They're just like they'll just never go, or they just don't have interest in it, or they just like, I don't know, man. Like just being to experience that as a kid was just like, it was pretty magical.
Yeah.
I had like some of like my greatest memories were like in Turkey, to be quite honest. I know I got into a bunch of bad shit too, but also like made like really good friends, like people I still in contact with today, and just I don't know, it was just cool, man. Like I don't know how else to explain it. Like I wish I could have did that more.
Sure.
But being in the military, you just go where they send you.
Right.
So it was like other than Turkey, I think it was like gonna be like Little Rock, Arkansas, or something like that. You know what I mean?
Fuck
yeah,
that.
dude. So it was like, I'm so glad we went to Turkey over that.
Oh, can you imagine how much different you'd be,
dude?
If you lived in Little Rock, Arkansas?
Yeah,
it'd be fucking crazy.
It would be, and then just like the food and everything, and like the people are so nice, man, and like
they
and
are.
then drinking Turkish chai. Like, it was just, I just missed that. You can go anywhere, and there's always like the people that have like that big, it's like a vest, but like it's got tea in it, so it's got like a little spout by their hand, so they got like glasses on like their hip, then like he wants the tea, and then they'll like bend over, and it like pours out, and then like you can like everywhere, dude, like no matter where you go, you can like get tea.
Wow, that's
like,
crazy,
it
man.
It was awesome.
Yeah, having this type of experiences, it kind of wipes away the idea that a lot of people have, or it's like, God, America fucking sucks, dude.
Yeah.
Like when I went to Turkey, when we arrived there 2 weeks before, somebody got arrested for being allegedly homosexual.
Oh, okay.
So it's like, yeah, we have problems, but come on.
Yeah.
Like it's not that bad here.
Yeah.
It's quite all right, actually.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And also the thing is that Turkey clearly is like a little bit less developed than the United States, but there's also charm to that. When you're walking down the street and there's those like vendors that are selling like fresh squeezed orange juice, or it's like, or they're selling like these bagel looking things that I forgot what they're named.
Ekmek?
I think so.
Like the loaves of bread that you just like, they're everywhere.
Yeah. And yeah, they don't have business license.
Yeah.
And it's like, and that's charming.
Yeah.
Like that's cool. But, you know, and a lot of these regulations, it kind of like takes away the possibility for that sort of charm.
Yes.
That's kind of the realization that I came to.
Like, you just going in Europe or just like just going to like a public market is just like, it's totally different. You bargain with people. You actually like, you know, there's always a price tag, but then you're like, oh, you know, and it's just like, but you're actually able to do that. No,
totally.
You cannot do that here. Like, you can't go out there and be like, yeah, can I do like, can I do like $7 instead of $9? And you know, that's just, you pay the price here.
Yeah, it's like corporate said it.
Yeah.
I just work here. You know, it's pretty. Yeah, it's super charming. Oh, I miss it so much. And the nightlife.
I don't really know too much about the nightlife.
Yeah, you were what, 13?
Yeah, I was pretty young, and like, you know, I'm not going off on the base. I mean, there was a couple times, like, I had a friend whose dad worked for the Turkish consulate, so they lived like on this like super nice like suite, penthouse suite, like in, you know, downtown Adana. Like, they had like steel plated doors, you know, that like they had to like lock themselves in, like, you know what I mean, like it was like super protected because his dad was like a, you know, high up government official, right? And but there were times where like we'd go out like at night and just like maybe go get some food real quick, but just kind of look around and walk around. There was like a park that was right there, and it actually turned out that like the person that everyone got weed from on base lived like really close to him. Yeah. And so we'd just go hang out with him. You know, he would just like smoke us up, and we'd like just hang out for a little bit, and we'd just go back, you know, watch some Dragon Ball Z or something. And then
what kind of shit was it? Was it,
dude,
filled with seeds?
Okay, so my first experience like smoking pot in Turkey was like, so I guess this is popular for them. It's called spliffs, where they mix it with tobacco.
Terrific.
So but they weren't doing just like, you know, tobacco, like fresh tobacco. They would just like take like Newports or a cigarette, whatever they had, and they would just like break it off and like just put all that tobacco in there. And then sometimes they put like 2 like cigarettes in there, and then like put weed in there, and like, and I just remember like hitting it like 3 or 4 times, and then I was just like on the floor, like on all like hands, and like just the floor's like spinning.
Oh no!
I ended up like throwing up a couple times, and like that was like my first experience. I was like, what the hell? And like I didn't even realize, like, it wasn't until like I think I bought some from him, and then like I just wanted to smoke it by itself, and I was like, man, this is much better. Yeah. Like I was like, it's too intense with the tobacco. I was like, it just gets me sick. But
spliffs are. I had a phase with spliffs. It was pretty. I enjoyed them. Also, chops, which is from a bowl out of a bomb.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Dude. And then I was a big runner, and then my lungs would start hurting, and I was like, oh, I should probably stop doing this. Yeah. But when did you? Okay, so where were you born?
Okay, so I was born in California. My brother and my sister were both born in San Diego. My parents went to SDSU. That's where they met, and they got married, and they were there for a while. My dad was in, what's it called? When you like go to school for like religious person, like mission.
A missionary?
Not quite missionary. It's like another term for it.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, it's like a. Oh my gosh. Starts with an M. Sounds like missionary. But basically, he was doing that to get like his certifications to be able to like be a preacher, all that other stuff. And then it wasn't until after he finished that's when he joined the military. But I was born in El Centro because like they were visiting some friends in Brawley, California, and my mom was coming back to San Diego, like because she like just knew I was coming, so she wanted to make sure she could like be there for her doctor. And then like her water broke in the car, so they just like went to the closest hospitals, which was El Centro. Shit. And my dad said that, like, yeah, like, you know, like none of the nurses like were speaking English, and you know, it was like that's just where I happened to be born. But like right after I was born, though, my dad joined the military, so I think I lived there till I was 1, maybe. And then we moved to Texas, was like his first assignment. Okay. Did like 3 or 4 years there. Then Alaska, another 3 years there, and then here Spokane. I lived here as a little kid. So I was in Spokane for 4 years, from 3rd to 6th grade. Okay, so you were like 11, 11 or 12. Yeah. So then I moved to Turkey, and I think I just had my 12th birthday, and then I moved to Turkey that summer. My birthday is like right before summer, and then I was in Turkey for 3 years until I was 15, and then that's when I moved back to North Carolina. Graduated high school there, and then I had the option to like keep going with my dad because he was still active duty, because they went to like Langley, Virginia, and then back to Alaska, but I ended up just staying in North Carolina. I actually moved in with his parents.
Oh.
When I was like just graduated high school. Because I didn't want to move with my parents. I had nowhere else to go, and like it was really nice for his parents to let me stay. I just paid them like $100 a month or something, and they just let me live at their house with them for about a year. And then me and we went down to Wilmington, which is a like a beach town, and
Wilmington,
North Carolina. Yeah. So it's like an hour and a half from Fayetteville, North Carolina, which is where I was living. And we decided to go to community college that was down there, so we went and got an apartment, and then me and have like lived together for like there have been periods where we haven't lived together, but we've lived like a big chunk of our adult lives together. I feel like because we've always just been roommates.
So did you meet when you were 13 years old? 14?
I met when I was 15, like right when I moved from Turkey.
Okay. Oh, that's right. You lived in Turkey from 12 to 15.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, and so I just remember like I wasn't like super cool with Scott yet, and then it was like my first semester at the high school there, and I remember like being in lunch, and I was like, fuck, I don't know anybody, and I was like, other people kind of walking around, and I'm like looking to see anyone I know, and like I saw, and then like this other girl that like kind of hung out in the same friend group, and also lived in my neighborhood though, but I never really like connected with him.
But you had seen him.
Yeah, and so then we just all kind of decided to sit together because it was like we were the only people who really knew, because like lunch was like divided into 4 periods, so like it just happened to be like
4, huh?
Yeah, because it was like really big high school, and so that was just like our group for like a whole semester was just me, him, and this girl Kelsey, and that's how like me and got really cool. And then I remember like having like a little pot and like just hitting up Scott like, hey man, like just want to like smoke a joint or something, and like then we'd go back and we'd play some Halo or something, and that's how we basically bonded, and we've like been friends ever since then.
Nice.
And then also my drummer in the band that I'm in now, he was also lived in that neighborhood. So like
really,
yeah. So like
Holy shit.
So like my drummer in my band and Scott are like 2 friends that I've had since I was like 15. And with Evan, like it's funny, like I remember meeting him at the skate park because I was skating with another guy. He's like, oh, this is Evan, blah, blah, blah. And then like I told him I like moved from Turkey, and he like looks at me dead in the eyes, and he's like, how do you speak English so well? Like, yeah. And then like I just like immediately started laughing because I was like, I thought he was just joking, but he was like dead serious, because like he's never been anywhere outside of North Carolina.
Right.
He's just been in like his little hole right there. And I was like, no man, I was like, I'm American. I was just like, I just lived there, And he just like, and like ever since then, I was like, oh man, I'm gonna be good friends with this guy. And like, so we've just been like super cool ever since. Like, he just came over the other night, and I was saying I made some gyros and stuff like that and everything. And
nice.
Michaela gave him a massage. And so it's a good time, man. So like it's cool to have like 2 like really really close friends that like live here. And I just thought like, who would have thought like we'd all be in fucking Spokane, Washington? Like, it's weird how like the cards of fate lay out sometimes, man. Like,
life is weird, man.
Yeah,
totally. Was it hard being so young and moving around so much? I mean, it's got to be like, because you make friends, and all of a sudden, and then also, yeah, and then also like you make friends, and then you have it in your mind, you're like, well, I might move in 12 months, or 6 months. So like, did it make it easier to like detach from people? You said that sometimes you have trouble like, fully like attaching.
Yeah. I don't know if it was like, I think just being a kid, I think I was just used to it. Like that was just my lifestyle growing up. So it was like, for the friends that I had there, it was still like 100% like, I'm not going to hold anything back, and just like, have like the best relationship I can with these people while I'm there. Okay. Because like, if it doesn't happen again, like, that's okay. But that could also lead into like just really long, fruitful relationships. Sure. And which I do have a couple. Actually, I want to say like particularly just one person in particular that like was like my best friend in Turkey. Me and him are still like in really, really good contact. He lives all the way out there in Delaware right now. He's like a chemist and does all this other stuff. But,
was he also the son of a military family?
Yep.
Okay.
So we were all
He's an
friends.
American?
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so we all met like on the base, and he's skateboarding. So like, and it's funny, he's like 6'7", he's taller than and like, yeah, and he was like skateboarding with this dude, and like he was like a super athlete. He was played a lot of basketball, went to school, played like, I think he only did like he played Division II basketball. Nice. But then he was skateboarding one day, and he like broke his ankle, and then like he like basically got like kicked off the team because like he wasn't able to play, and then like. But he was there for an academic scholarship, so he wasn't even there like for basketball. He just happened to be like really good at the same time. But he's like a brainiac though. He's just like super on it. Nice. And I was always envious of that because like with me in school, it was like really hard for me to focus. That's why I always wondered maybe I really needed like some ADHD medicine or something, or just something else to help me like just like crack down. Like I feel like basically up until like I went to college, like everything was just half-assed. I just did enough to pass. Sometimes I do really good, but like I never really like tried, and I really studied, and I really did anything. But then like when I went to school here, I was like, okay, like this is different now. I want to see like what my potential is. Like if I actually like study, take notes, like put in the work, and like see how good I can do. And yeah, I did like really well. I mean, I had like almost a 3.5 GPA when I graduated.
That's terrific, man.
So like it's basically just almost a B plus average.
Yeah.
Or just like a B average basically. But like, hey man, I was like, I think that's good. Like, I mean, there was classes I got A's in, but there was classes I still got like C's in. But after it all balanced out, it was like almost a 3.5, and you know, I think that's like
huge.
That was really like, you know, I was proud of myself for just doing that. So
yeah, and if you were unsure, I mean, because I can relate to that too. I mean, just not trying in school, and there comes a point where you wonder, you're like, okay, what am I actually capable of? Because I know what the outcome will be if I don't really apply myself. Mm-hmm. But if I do, what can I do? Yeah. You know, I'm sure that was something you were wondering too before you went back.
Yeah.
So seeing you like bear the fruits of like hard work, mm-hmm. I'm sure that boosted your confidence a lot, especially given everything that you'd gone through before you went back to school.
Yeah.
I'm sure that like helped like solidify like a new identity for yourself, right?
Yeah, I think
succeeding like that.
Yeah, it definitely did, because like, I mean, I would put like, you know, like there's things in my life where I've put like lots of work into. Like I put a lot of work into like when I was like learning guitar. I put a lot of work into like when I did sports, you know, when I did like skateboarding, you know, I would be like super disciplined and like practice all the time and do all this stuff. But like when it came to like academics, it was like, fuck, I cannot like just sit still and like do this stuff. Like it was like really hard for me. So then finally, like, you know, I was getting into climbing and like putting all that effort into climbing and like taking care of myself and seeing like how much I was improving, and like, and then also just like making a connection with friends of people who are like also giving off that energy. They're fucking trying, they're putting in that work. And it was like cool, like meeting all these people, mm-hmm. and then being able to, and I was like, all right, if I could do that, then like I can do it for like anything, you know. I just have to like choose to do it.
Right.
And so like, you know, I think that like finally, yeah, after just like getting clean and coming up here, it's just like, yeah, man, like I'm doing this. Like I got my associate's degree back in North Carolina. I don't even know how, but I was able to.
Really?
It basically took me 4 years to get a 2-year degree.
Right.
Yeah, you know what I mean. But
yeah,
like,
okay.
But I did it. But it was still just like, you know, like obviously it just could have been way better. You know, I was in North Carolina for like 11 or 12 years, and then went out to California to get clean for the second time. Was there for about 3 years. Actually, I went to rehab twice when I was in California, because I did have a relapse after like the first time I went to rehab. And then so I went to rehab a total of 3 times, and then I moved up here like October 2018, and then right before COVID happened. And then and I like, because like, and I got into climbing, and I'd luckily like right before it shut down, like I met a bunch of people who climbed. And so like when everything's shut down, but then we just went outside and climbed. So like that was like the most consistent outside climbing that I probably did. Like I've still gone outside quite a bit. Like right now, like it's getting that time. Like we can start doing some cool outdoor stuff. But yeah, it was just like, I'm glad I was able to do that. It really kind of helped me like continue like friendships and stuff even during lockdown. And
was that big for you? Were you worried? Were you worried that you might relapse again, or were you at a point where you knew that it was over?
By the time I got here, man, I was to the point where like, okay, like I want this. Like I'm like, this is like, it's not just like a half-ass thing anymore. Like I really want to do it. My mom even like wrote a book about like me, basically about she wrote a book called like Changing Hope. And basically it's a devotional, like a 28-day devotional where she just talks about like, you know, because there's not a lot of information for parents that have, I mean, there is material, but there's like not a lot of stuff that really like talks about like what you can do as a parent when you have like a child that's, you know, it's an addict that's going through things, and like you're just feeling helpless. You don't want to like enable them, you know, then you don't know what to do. So she basically just wrote this book, and she didn't even tell me about it until like it was finished. So like, you know, it was just really cool. Like, you know, like I still like apologize to my mom for just all the stress and stuff I put her through.
Sure.
You know, and I feel like I've shaved off years of her life from the stress that I've probably given her. You know, like they got a call saying that like their 23-year-old son went into cardiac arrest. You know, because like I overdosed. And
did you?
Yeah.
Wow.
And so like just
Whoa.
like just to have that, I can't imagine like how that feels. And like even man, like so he was there like when it happened. Like he saw me dead. Like he said like I was like completely pale. Like my lips were like purple, blue. And
was this in North Carolina?
This was in North Carolina, and my baby mama, I guess, gave me CPR for about 15 or 20 minutes until the EMTs got there. And so I don't know if you know anything about overdoses, but the first thing people usually do is they administer Narcan, which
right.
like kind of like reverses the effects in your body.
Yeah.
Well, they hit me like 4 times with the Narcan and it didn't bring me back. So like they used a defibrillator and they shocked my ass, and I just woke up. And then like I remember waking up to the EMT right there. He was like, "Welcome back, buddy." And I was just like, "Holy shit!" And then they had the body bag like right next to me, because like that was the last straw. Like if that didn't work, then they were just gonna call it and that was gonna be it. And like it's like really hard for him to like look at me and like talk about that, because he like saw me like lifeless.
Yeah.
For X amount of time. Like
you were on the other side.
Yeah, I don't remember, man. All I remember is like I shot up myself, and then I was getting ready. I like remember grabbing like Catherine's arm, and I was like getting ready to like stick her, and then I just woke up. Like I don't even remember what happened. She told me like I just like went like this and just like fell over, and then I started getting all pale, and she started freaking out. She yelled. I was like, call 911, and then I honestly like. I think if she didn't give me the CPR, dude, I feel like that really like kept me alive for them to get there. Like,
yeah.
And like the whole twisted part about addiction is like 3 days later, like I was back to getting high again.
Really?
You know what I mean? Like I told myself, oh, like, like I just like, oh, like never again, man. Like I can't do this, blah, blah, blah. And then, yeah, a couple of days later.
So what was the last straw?
On the drugs. Well, for me, so like the reason why I got out of North Carolina was because also I have Saya. So Saya was like not even 1 year old like when that happened, and so like there were 2 instances where they had to come like basically we called the ambulance to come show up, because like Catherine overdosed once, but she like snapped back out of it before they'd gotten there. So by the time they get there, like blah blah blah. But when they came for me, since it was like strike 2. Child like CPS basically shows up at the door and says like, hey, like like they're like, you're not fit to be a parent, and like we're gonna take your kid, like, which is also still kind of crazy. I mean, I do think it's like it's good to get certain kids out, but like Saya was like never neglected. She was never like not loved. We never like did it around her. Like she would like be at her grandparents' house, and then like, okay, now we got the night, we can do what we want. But basically like that happened, and then I had gotten my first tax refund from like claiming her, like, because you get a bunch of money when you have kids, so I got like $5,000 or something like that, and then like I just went on like a huge fucking spending spree. Well,
right.
Like I was still on like at that time I was still on like I was on like a joint bank account, so like with my parents. So like my mom like froze my account and was like, I couldn't get any of my money. She's like, you're coming out here. She's like, you're gonna get clean.
Coming out to Spokane?
To California.
Yeah. Okay.
And so, and I just remember like, okay, yeah, and like I remember just like having to talk to I was like, hey man, like I'm going to California. Like, sorry man, like I don't really have a choice. Like my dad's coming over here. My dad, my dad was flying out to come help me pack all my shit into like my little Prius that I had at the time, and we just fucking drove all the way to California. And basically everything that was just left at the apartment, I was like, man, you can just take it. I don't know, you can have it, burn it, or whatever, throw it away. But I was like, I didn't have the choice. And I felt bad for leaving him, because he was still like, he hadn't gotten like super into it as like I was, but like he had started doing it. And I remember he was like snorting it, and then like I know he was like probably getting like hard into it near the end there, but then I just like upped and left, and I was like his like best friend and like one of his like main support. And I think that when I left, he actually like his mom, I think like one day came like upstairs and like found all of his drugs or something that they're all out, and they they went on, they did like tough love with him. Like I feel like very like blessed that my parents were like so supportive and helped me like get clean. They were just like, you need to figure this out. They like took his car, they took everything from him, and they're like, you need to go to rehab. And he ended up going to Baltimore to like this place that does like, it was free treatment, and then he didn't have like, he didn't have anything, and so like he was there for like 2 years or something, and it wasn't until I moved up here and I was living in Airway Heights with my buddy, and we had an extra bedroom, and I was like, dude, like, I was like, you should just come out here, man. And I was like, I know it's got to be tough. Like he's just living in like a halfway home that's just a bunch of recovering addicts and people that like, I'm sure they're nice, but like people that really don't have his interests at their best hearts, and so I was like, yeah, bro, like just come out here, man. Like, it'll be a big change, it'd be good. And he did. So like I gave him the choice, and I think it was like 2 weeks later he like calls me, he's like, yeah, man, he's like, all right, I'm gonna come out there. And I was like, fuck yeah. And then like, so his sister actually like flew out there with him and like helped him pack his shit, and then they both drove, and they just both made the drive out here. And I remember they came over, his sister stayed for like a few days before she flew back, and then it's been here ever since. And man, like God has gone through like a big change too, man, because when I saw him, like when I first saw him, like when he came over, man, he was like really, really overweight. He was like not taking care of himself, like stinky, like he was vaping a lot, and like he would get like the vape juices like all in his teeth and stuff, and like wasn't like brushing his teeth, and I was like, damn. Like, but now like, dude, it's all different. Like even it's cool, like we like
he's buttoned up, dude.
Like looking good again, and like he's feeling good, and and then we have Evan as well, because like my drummer, he had his own problems with drugs too. Like he got into a car accident when really young. He got like $100,000 for this car accident thing, because like it was the other person's fault, and blew all of it, man. Spent it all on drugs. He did have a car, ended up selling the car for more drugs. And then like he's hanging out with all these like kids, these stupid fucking kids back in Fayetteville, which I wish he would have stayed in Wilmington. Actually,
what is it called? Really Fayetteville?
So yeah, Fayetteville, North Carolina.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was always like back and forth between like with him, Fayetteville and Wilmington, and like he was hanging out with all these kids that like getting drugs and stuff. And I was like, man, I even used to tell him, I was like, dude, as soon as that money's gone, I was like, watch who stays around and like hangs out with you still. And then that's what happened. Like as soon as he was like out of money, they're not interested in hanging out with him anymore. Right. And it was just like really fucked up. So it's like we've all had like our own like journeys and getting stuff. And now like Evan's like he's in great shape. He's even better at drums than he's ever been. He doesn't do any of that shit anymore. He like barely doesn't even smoke pot. Like he'll drink. I'll drink with him, but like and it's just kind of cool to see all of us like finally like developing, because like I feel like we were basically just like high school kids. Like we kept doing the same shit that we did in high school all the way up until like our the late 20s, basically. Right. You know what I mean? All we wanted to do was party, get fucked up, chase girls, and just like have a good time. And
sure.
And then now it's just cool that we're all like on this journey, and then we're all here together. So it's just like it's full circle, man. Like
full circle as it gets.
Yeah, it's just crazy, and it makes me happy to see like my friends succeed. Like that makes me feel good to see like my friends doing well.
Totally.
And especially just knowing like we've all kind of come from the same place and the same shit, just all different different tangents, but then we'll all come back together, and it's just kind of cool that like we all have like a really special bond together just because of all that shit we've been through.
That's so crazy that all of you met in North Carolina and you're all in Spokane, Washington,
bro.
Dude. Yeah. And like Spokane, like I grew up here and it always seemed like a very small town. But in reality, it's not. It's the second biggest city in Washington.
Yeah.
So I guess it sort of makes sense why people end up here. Like a lot of people move here, especially from the west side, which blows my mind.
Oh,
because I lived on the west side and it's gorgeous. And then over here is, it's okay. It's not a complete desert, but when you live in Bellingham like I did and then you move here, it seems like a desert.
Okay.
There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
But dude, as you're telling me these stories, man, it's like, it kind of, I don't know. It tells you, it speaks volumes about the capability of the human soul and how perseverance can get you out of any situation. Because, I've never done any hard drugs at all. But just for 5 years, I just couldn't stop smoking weed. And I always wondered, like, am I permanently changed from this? And I don't think there's any way out of that. I think you definitely are, from whatever, if you abuse a substance of any kind, then you're not going to be the same as you were before. But like hearing Cole's story and then hearing your story so far, it gives me a different perspective on how resilient the human body and the human spirit is, for sure. And it's so crazy because a lot of times, because I've met people who have like had, they did drugs for like quite a while, and I met them and they look like they did drugs for years. But when I met you, because I'm 25, and so I met you at work, at the place we work, which will not be named by name. I met you. I was like, oh, this guy's probably 25, or But this dude, I guess it's that fucking like those Filipino genes, dude. You look young as fuck.
Well, even like my drummer, man, he's a little bit older than me, and like he still gets it a lot too. And like it's funny because we joke around and say that because our choice of drugs were opiates or whatever, that we spent a lot of time sleeping and resting, like really good. Like we slept really good, for like a big chunk of our 20s. And like that might have like, I know like the drugs were bad, but like the sleep was probably really good, like for the rest of our bodies. So like, I mean, I honestly don't know if there's any like scientific anything that's like actually true about that, but we joke around and say like it's probably because we slept all the time.
There's probably something to that. Yeah. I mean, what are the drugs that make you stay up for like? So those are gonna be like your uppers. It's gonna be like your amphetamines, like cocaine, meth, like even Adderall, stuff like that. Like all that stuff that like keeps you up. Those are considered like you have like your amphetamines and like, cause like your benzos, that's like Xanax and stuff. That makes benzodiazepine. That makes you tired and sleeps, like the anti-anxiety. Right. But like the opioids are the ones that like when you see people on the street downtown and they're like about to fall over, those are the ones that are on heroin or like doing like the opioids. The ones that are like tweaking out, those are the guys like are on meth and like on the uppers. Oh, okay. So like that's how I always know. Like if they're like falling over, okay, they're definitely doing dope. Like because you can't stay awake, like you just fall asleep. And the ones that are like all crazy talking to themselves and stuff, those guys have probably been up for 3 days. You know what I mean? I mean that would seem to make sense because I was speaking earlier about like the last girl I dated. She was, she worked at Chipotle. She was like a GM. She worked like 70 hours a week sometimes. And she never slept. And it was just it takes a toll on you. And then you see the people who rest really well every night. They look better. They look younger. Their brain functions better. And granted, you were doing drugs, but it's like for example, if you stay up, if you get like 2 hours of sleep, like 3 nights in a row, your mind is just going to be like in a fight or flight mode. And you can't think straight. So I think there probably is something to that it helps, that it probably preserved you in like one way or the other.
It could be genetic too, but it's probably but I like
probably half and half.
We just always joke about that. And, and even so, like right now, I'm almost like 2 months now with like out smoking weed. Just because I've been like grinding, I'm looking for a new job, and like I know I'm going to be piss tested, and like besides, like I just wanted to just be off of it too, because I've always like smoked, really, like I've always had that, and like at one point in my head I was like, oh, it's just weed, like it's not as bad as all the other drugs. But I've noticed though that weed is a really big dream suppressant, and also like helps you go to sleep. And since I've been off of it, like there have been more nights where I have to take melatonin, or it's like hard for me like to stay asleep. Sometimes it's hard for me to fall asleep. I feel like a little more restless. So I do feel like even now, my quality of sleep has declined until like my body really like resets itself and gets used to it. So like, yeah, man, like I do feel like even like when I'm like trying to sleep for like 8 to 10 hours, sometimes I still wake up and I'm driving somewhere and I'm like yawning. I'm like, why the fuck am I yawning still? Like, did I not sleep good? Like I felt like I slept. And then, like, I'm having dreams, like, right? That means I had to have been, like, asleep. In REM. And, like, So, but it's just, like, I don't know. I still kind of have this restlessness, and I'm just slowly kind of waiting for that to subside. And, so, like, I like to go climb. I like to, like, physically get myself tired. And but even on top of that, sometimes like once I'm there and laying in bed, I'm just like, why can't I just go to sleep?
Yeah.
And then I also don't want to take melatonin every night, because then I don't want to develop another dependency on something to help me sleep.
Sure.
So on the nights when it's like really rough, or I just really want to go to bed fast, like I'll take it right in the beginning and I just close my eyes immediately. I won't like look at my phone or like do anything to try and like stay up.
Well, melatonin's one of the healthier ones, because it really, my grandfather's a retired doctor, and melatonin, like by definition, is not a sleeping pill. It's just a supplement that just like helps you produce a hormone that already exists in your body. Okay. So that really, it is really bad. It's kind of like taking testosterone. You do it a bunch, then all of a sudden your body doesn't produce it. So it's the same with melatonin, but it really is like the least harmful one out of all of them. But I remember like when I stopped smoking, it was like I was sleeping. I looked rough because I would take photos the first like 2 weeks. Yeah, just like, I'm gonna remember this, and then on my Snap story, it was like last year on March 12th, and I was like, oh my god, I looked bad. Yeah. I looked so pale, dude. Yeah. It was.
I feel like my eyes are getting a little like baggier, but like I know it will go away. Like and then like also I just want to be on like a little bit different schedule, because working late nights, getting at home at 11, and then I'm still like wired from like work, because like I have to like turn on that mode to serve and bartend, and so it's like I have putting out all this energy when I get home at night. I'm like, it takes a while to settle down, so I'm not even like getting into bed until like midnight. 12:30 is when I'm actually like laying there trying to go to sleep. Yeah. And then and Michaela's like already fucking clunked out like at like 10:30. You know what I mean? And I'm like, damn, but she starts her day like way before I do. I like on average I wake up around like 10 or 11 is like my time I just normally wake up, because like I won't go to sleep until like 1, and then sometimes I wake up and just like all that other stuff. But I want to be like just on a better like circadian rhythm, and it's like because as males, I think that we are like solar beings. So like the 9 to 5 work day I think was more designed for like a man, because we run on like the solar cycle. So like early in the morning, like our energy spikes early and then goes through like the mid of the day, and then like by evening we're like, okay, we're like expent, and then that's when we need to relax. Right. But women, they're on the lunar cycle. They every 28 days. So the activities that women should do during like that month is all based on like, it should be based on what they're feeling and like what they want to do. It's like different. Like so like there's this whole controversy of like throwing women into like the 9 to 5 cycle. Like they should have like their own cycle, because they're lunar beings. And like, you're not saying that they can't do it, but I think that's just the way they were made. I think the 9 to 5 like standard work day was meant for men, and like they know that. That's why like they made that work day, because that's when men are the most productive. Right. And like otherwise, that's why. And then I don't know. I was just kind of watching some stuff about that, which I thought was interesting.
That's fascinating. I mean, we are so different from women, which is wild, because in my psychology class I learned that we are 99.9% similar to women. Yeah. But it's completely still black and white, man. Yes, it's crazy. There's gray area, but yeah, it's like it's totally different. Yeah. Totally. That's very interesting. Yeah, that kind of if we are the most productive 9 to 5, then the hours that we work is pretty much the antithesis to that. Yeah. Pretty much. Yeah. It's like maybe that's what's like I'm and that's all I've ever done. I've like worked in restaurants forever. There was a period of time when I was in California, like getting clean and everything, where I was working at a military base and I was working at the youth center. So like my day started at like 6 a.m. and I got off work at 3, and then like having that rest of that day, it was nice, man. I was like, yeah, like I can go in and like deal with all these little fucking kids and whatever, cook food, get everything ready, and then like when I got off, it felt nice to like just have the rest of my day. Yeah, and I think that was like better for my mental at the time. But like now, it's just like, even though things are going good for me, like it just sucks, man. I hate it. I hate like me and Michaela not being able to have as much time anymore. Like obviously like we live together, we see each other a lot, but really it's like, damn, we don't have as much quality time as I would imagine we would. And and like I want to like get back on that with her. Like I'd rather like and then I want to get like a remote job. She's doing like her online yoga, and like we want to be able to like work and like
go travel. You know, like we want to go to Japan like really bad. You know, we go to Mexico, like all these other places, and like, and as long as like we have some type of remote work, and you know, we can go like do our work together in the mornings and get done, and then like whatever, do what we want for the rest of the day. And like I hate like just that like most of my friends that I go climb with, they all have like normal jobs. So like they're always there like 5:30, 6 o'clock. I'm like, oh, sorry guys, like I'm working.
I start at 4.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So it's like it does suck, but like I mean I mean I do like my job. Like it's fun to bartend, and like, you know, I do enjoy like working with people and stuff like that. But it's just like after I've been doing it for so long, man, it's just like I feel burned out. Like I feel like I can't rest, and you know I'm just like ready for a change. And so that's why I've just been, you know, it's been really cool. Like me, like just watching Michaela like do her thing, and then, you know, I'm trying to like, you know, she's putting a lot of work. Like I'm gonna put in work too. So like I've been.
You put in a ton. You've already created the infrastructure within your life that change is right around the corner. So that must be inspiring too. Does that take a little bit of stress off your shoulders in terms of being like burnt out in the restaurant industry?
Yeah, I think it does.
Because you can see the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then and also just too, because like I think it was like this Christmas, I went out to spend Christmas with Michaela's family for the first time. And
where's that?
This is in Nampa, which is like just right outside Boise. And but basically like, so like her parents, like they know kind of like about like my addiction and stuff. I haven't really like discussed it like in full with them. I think I kind of have. I've explained a lot of it to her mom, but Michaela told me that like before I showed up, you know, that she always like gives her this example. So her sister was like with the guy for like 5+ years or something, and like, you know, was promising this, promising that, and like basically wasn't able to deliver and like give her the life that she wanted. And like they were concerned that like I might not be able to do that for Michaela, that I'm not gonna be able to like provide the life that they want her to have, kind of thing. And that like hit me fucking hard.
Sure.
I was like, damn. Like, I mean, but like they also don't know everything that I was going through at the time. Like it's not like I could have just like, you know, because her brother's younger than her. And like, you know, like her parents are both like hardworking, and like, you know, her brother has like a lot of these things like really early, like because like, you know, their dad's like really cool, was able to teach them all these skills and all these things. And like I don't know anything, bro. I feel like I barely know shit about this world or how to do things. Like I didn't really learn how to do stuff. And then so like I'm just,
well, like
I think
skills or
like something he does, like, you know, like car stuff, like how to build things, like like woodworking, like just like things like that. And he has his own like car business and stuff like this now, and at such a young age, and now he's married and he's got a kid, and like, you know, they're looking at Michaela, and she's the oldest, and I'm older than her, so like they're looking at me like I should already have my shit together. But it's like but like I try not to let that part get to me, because we're all on different paths, and like they don't know all the stuff that I've like gone through or had to do just to get to where I'm at now. But you know, Michaela was talking to me about it too, and she's like, yeah, you know, like I want to like, I mean, for myself, but like, yeah, I want to like, it's also, I have this like extra drive and fire to like prove to them, like, yeah, no, I can do this. Like like, you know, like I just graduated college, and now I'm on the grind. So like I know it's bound to happen. Like that. You got to be attractive. You got to attract success. You know, like you can't. It's not something you chase. You know, success is something you attract. And you know, and that's like what I'm doing. And, you know, like, so now I've got the Amazon thing. I've got all these jobs I've been applying to, people I've been networking with. I'm, like, slowly building my network. And, like, and trying to do that. Because, like, I know I want a better life for myself, too. So it's like, yeah, I want to be able to, like, you know, be able to provide the life that Michaela wants to, vice versa. But also want to, like, you know, I want to, like, excel, like, in my own way, too. Like, my own personal growth and development. And, wanting these things.
Wanting that for yourself. That's like the base for you being able to provide something amazing for somebody else. And when you think about, you know, you're 32 and you just graduated college, but like it's either, you know, you're late. I'm gonna be like your age when I'm done with school for psychology. But I'm so glad it turned out this way. And it's like, would I rather be just graduated now and then be like much less motivated, or because of the past experiences I've had, be so motivated now, and then in 6 years be like a way better person for it.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. Yeah, and it's, I never really pictured it like that.
Yeah, and it's because I went to college right after high school. I went to community college here in Spokane, and I just like didn't give half a shit.
Yeah.
I failed all my classes.
Because you just went to school for like your whole life, basically.
Yeah, 18 years straight.
And now you have the option to like not go to class, and
yeah,
it's like I totally get it. You're still young. Your brain's not even fully developed.
Yeah, dude. The way I describe it is I was 18 with a 13-year-old mind. Mm-hmm. And I was 19 with a 14-year-old mind. Yeah. And I had all these formative experiences on the construction site, people screaming in my face, you know, showing up at 6 a.m., working 12 hours, just like getting my ass handed to me. And that's what makes me so motivated to go to school and just like succeed. And all the experiences that you've had, I would imagine that's even more motivating because, you know, because correct me if I'm wrong, but the way I would describe like, you know, like the situation that you were in is that like you were in the depths of hell, you know, and you clawed your way out, you know, one step at a time. Yeah. And now you've graduated school in a very lucrative industry. Yeah. IT, right? Yeah. Yeah. And that's the future, you know, CS and IT. Yeah. That seems to be like the way to go right now. Yeah.
And I always felt like, and it was like, it always used to be something that made me feel bad too, because like my brother and my sister, they both like went to college right after high school. Watch, my brother joined the military right after high school, but then like they both ended up, you know, going to college, like getting degrees and blah blah blah, and like everyone in my family all went to college, they all have degrees, and then like I always felt like the black sheep. I'm over here, like they never had problems with drugs or anything like that. It was like just me going through all this shit, and like, you know, they like just wanted me to go to school. Like I felt pressured just to go to school for them at some point, but then like once I started like dialing in and be like, okay, like this is what I want to do, like I can do this. Like I've always been pretty like tech savvy and everything else, and yeah, and so just like it was just kind of like a little bit of all these things that helped build up, and that helped develop my own like desire to do it. It was like not just for them, but like now like I found the reason for myself. Yeah. So like, you know,
that's huge.
Yeah, it did take a long time, but like it's better now than never.
Yeah.
And so
some people don't go back to school until they're like 40.
Yeah,
you know?
Which is fine. Like honestly, like, you know, whenever you do, like, you know, everyone's on their own path. I'm just like, I'm glad that like right now, like I still feel like I'm in my prime. Mm-hmm. I'm still young, and like, you know, I'm
totally
just want to see like what I'm capable of now. Like, I want to go have fun and enjoy this life and enjoy like what the world has to offer. And like, yeah, I would love to do that with Michaela. So it's like, you know, we're just, yeah, it's been a journey, man. And like, and the development never stops. Like, you know, there's always more to learn. I've just like developed a lot of like just really cool relationships with people. I feel like I like dabble in a little bit of everything, man. Like, so I went to this Halloween party and I had a tarot reading, and I pulled like the 7 chalices, right? And I guess that signifies that there might be a lot of things that I try to take on in life, and it could be too much. Yeah. And so it could be important to maybe just focus and narrow down on a couple things that are more important. Because like, I mean, when I think about it, man, yeah. So like, I've got like my climbing group, I've got like my band, I do like Dungeons and Dragons, and I started like doing like Pokemon stuff with, and doing these like card battling stuff, and like, and like it's just, and then I got like grinding for work, trying to find this job, and then I got this Amazon thing, and it's like, and then like I always have to like check myself and make sure like I'm not like trying to take on too much at one time, because then like I feel like it kind of stresses me out, or I feel like I don't have time for this now, I don't have time for this now, I don't have time for this, so I can't hang out with these people, I can't do this, and like all these other things, and so yeah, it's just like super interesting, man. It's like but it's just like I don't think I ever could have done those things if I just like I used to be like so self-centered and selfish, like I just wanted to focus on myself, but it's like good to like be able to share my energy with like like-minded people, and people that also like give off that same energy. Like I want to be around people that are like, I basically just want to be around people, like I'm just trying to attract the people that I want to be around, like, yeah, if I'm like hanging out with you, like it's because like I really like appreciate you, or because like I value your time, like, like if it's something that I don't feel like is worth it, then like I'm not gonna bother. So it's like, it's just one of those things.
Totally. Yeah, and it must have been hard for you, like once you return to normalcy, whatever the fuck that means. Yeah. Yeah, because that's a very loose term. Yeah. But Yeah, once you return to that, I mean, it's so hard to dial in whenever you're like talking about your experiences or certain perspectives that you formed from when you were taking drugs. There's always like on some level, not totally, but on some level, there's always like a level where I can relate to it, just because I felt like my whole life revolved around weed. So when I stopped, like it was really weird. I was just like, okay, like what do normal people do?
Yeah.
You know, and I'm sure you felt that way too, right? When you were trying to form like this, when you were trying to form this like lifestyle that you wanted to develop.
Yeah. Yeah, I had no hobbies other than like playing games, because it's something I could do like safely high in my room. Like I don't have to like be around people and have them know. So yeah, like when you say like return to normalcy, like yeah, it is. You just have to relearn how to live again. Yeah. But the thing is though is that emotions are universal, man. So like what I went through, anyone could, I feel like, could relate to it. It's just like I got to those emotions just through a different path. But like the things that we feel are the same. Like emotions are universal. So it's like I feel like, you know, you can relate to almost anybody's story in a sense on the emotional level. It's like you might not know like exactly all the everything, you know, everyone gets there differently, but it's like you can understand it. Mm-hmm. You know, like you've felt those emotions before, and just like then it's try to like put yourself in their shoes and be like, oh shit, like, you know, that's how empathy works. Mm-hmm. So it's like, you know, like I 100% agree that like you feel very similar things to me, like even though we just had two different, you know,
and different extremes, different levels of it. Yeah, and it could be even somebody who's overweight and like addicted to sugar. Like they could probably relate to like both of us. Yeah. With like, you know, weed and like, yeah, and it was
like the self-hate, man, that's real, dude. Mm-hmm. That takes you to a really dark place, and like you can get to that through all different types of means, man. Like you can be completely sober, don't do drugs, and still like hate your life and hate stuff. Like it happens. Like people go through it all the time, you know. Yeah. So like it doesn't even matter like what it is that you went through that got you there. It's just like you were there, and like you know how it feels. Right. So like I'm not any worse or any better than that person, you know. Yeah. Like my story doesn't like make me have any more credibility than anybody else that hasn't done drugs, you know. Right.
You're like, just different. Yeah. Not better, not worse, just different.
It's just different.
Yeah,
but the feelings are the same.
Yeah, life is a crazy thing, man. There's so much. Yeah, and there's so much. I never felt like school like fit me, and it taught me what I needed to learn. And now I definitely feel that way. We didn't learn like one of the required classes in high school in America and across the world, in my opinion, should be like a communications class. Yeah. Learning how to fucking express yourself. Yes. and just you know, and deal with like real life stuff. Like there should be a class that we learn about like credit cards and like bank accounts
and just like basic like mechanic stuff, how to fix things around the house. Just like, you know, it's always just like in America, it's always like it's someone pay someone to do it for you. Yeah, it's so easy to have someone come in and do things for you. And actually, when I was in college, I took an interpersonal relationships course, and that was like one of like my favorite courses I ever took, because it was just about that. You learn like teaches you like the importance of like making eye contact, the like just gestures, like when you're talking, like just like how to communicate with people and like, you know, make connections. And like honestly, it was like a super interesting course. I was like, I had to wait till college to take this shit. Like this should have been like just part of like in elementary school. Like this should have been like something that's just always been taught to people. It's such an important skill, because like some people like don't know how to talk to others. Like they're like they're just not social, or they have anxiety. Mm-hmm. It's like no one should have anxiety to talk to anybody. Like that should be like out the window. Like that should just be like something that's like, because like, so like for example, like my nieces in their school, like they basically everyone has to do like a public speech at the end and like all this other stuff. Like so basically like even if you're like that, you still like I think that's good to get the kids used to that. Because that's gonna take them far, man. Like communication, like in this day and age, like you got to be able to like talk to people and like low key, like, you know, like one thing like I dislike about girlfriend is she's like has like really bad social anxiety, which is I thought was so crazy because she was a bartender. I'm like, so she's used to talking to people, like she knows how to like talk to strangers, but like she won't come out like when I invite her out to do things and like, oh yeah, no, bring. she never wants to go. She's like, oh, I don't know anybody. Well, you're not ever gonna know anybody unless you go out and meet them, and you don't know like who you're gonna connect with, and you might make a new friend. And so it's like, I don't get how someone can just like live their life like that. Like, it's hard for me and to like understand that. Like,
you just gotta go for it, and like
man.
you gotta go for it, and you gotta stop putting so much weight to everything. Is something I learned, and I've learned this like in my dating experiences. Like, since 2022, when I moved back here, I've been rejected by so many women that at this point I'm just like, well, whatever.
That's good though. It's healthy that like sometimes a rejection like will kill someone on the inside.
Yeah,
but that's like normal. Like it's like you can't just expect to have everything work out. Especially if you're looking for your one.
Yeah. Then you're gonna just meet so many people, and the most important thing is when you meet all these people and like it doesn't go the right way, you cannot turn bitter. Mm-hmm. That's the most important thing. You can't turn bitter. You gotta take the positive from every single thing. Like like I've met a lot of girls at a climbing gym. There's a girl who I went out with. She was really pretty, and we like climbed together a few times. But like it was like we were trying to do this, but it was just like I just couldn't like get
polar opposites. Like,
I couldn't get through to her. Like we were like it was, everything was so awkward, and then I just felt so like disconnected from her. And then she said she wasn't interested, and like and that could have been an opportunity for me to turn bitter, where I'm just like, oh well, fuck this. The problem was with her. It's like, no, like what was good about her, and what am I glad? She was really hardworking. She was an EMT. That's a really noble job. Yeah. And I know what I don't want. Yeah. I want somebody who's like super in touch with themselves and who's a deep thinker. Yeah. And that's just, you gotta. Yeah. I feel like part of turning old is kind of starting to become resentful and cold towards the world. Mm-hmm. And because that's the whole thing about like youthful ignorance, is that you're so open to like new opportunities because you haven't been beaten down by life yet. Yeah. Like the people who don't want to try new things, like maybe they've just had experiences where they've been beaten down by life, and they just feel they feel very discouraged. Yeah. And they just kind of feel like they kind of feel like burnt out. Yeah. And that's when you start dying, man. When you stop pursuing new knowledge and new skills, that's when you start deteriorating.
Yeah, you're looking at life through like a negative lens now. Mm-hmm. And like I do think like me moving around a whole bunch like really helped like kind of force me to just like be more social, have to make friends all the time and stuff like that. But man, the dating world is rough because like, I mean, I've only really had like 3 serious relationships. I'm 32 now, and I'm with Michaela, and I want to spend the rest of my life with her. But like it was just like really hard. It was just really hard for me to like just. Yeah, I used to have a lot of problems with self-esteem, and then like if I get rejected, I was like taking it like super personally, and like it took me a while to like once I started kind of dating here, it would bother me a little bit. There was like a couple ones where like I really wanted it to work out, but then like someone ended up moving, and there was another girl that like I was like falling in love with, and she just like ghosted me. Like we talked for like 3 months, and then just out of fucking nowhere just like blocks me, didn't even give me like an explanation. I'm like, what the fuck happened? I was like, dude, I thought this was like so good. Yeah. But then it was like a little bit after that, that's when like Michaela came back into my life, because we had talked previously, and she just like we hit it off like from the get-go. I was like, oh man, this girl's fucking awesome. But like then she told me that like she was just down here for like a summer, or just like she was gonna move back or something. I was like, no, not again. Like I can't, I'm not gonna put my energy. So like she was like the first girl like I really like, just like, hey, like I gotta just tell you, like I don't think that we should like talk or have any like thing romantically in between us anymore, because like I know you're moving. And then so like we had like a big chunk of time where we just like, she said she still like wanted to hang out with me and do stuff, but I was like, that's just not realistic, because like I'm obviously attracted to you, I'm gonna want more. And it was like during that like 6-month period when like I ended up meeting that other girl, and then like and she just fucking like basically broke my heart, man. Like I was like pretty fucked up about it. But then like like 2 months down the road, and like Michaela's like, oh hey, like no, I'm not moving anymore. And she did tell me that like she basically decided to stay because of me. And then like,
Wow.
and like just the energy that I felt her like giving to me, I felt like it was very genuine. Like she really just liked me. She knew about all my shit, and like, you know, she was like willing to look past all this stuff. And I was like, yeah, man, like I'm not, because like, I mean, in my head, dude, I was like, I'm a 30-year-old man. I've got a kid. I have a drug addiction issues. I'm like red flags everywhere. You know what I mean? Like in the dating world, like I'm a fucking red flag. I got all this baggage. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's just like, it's hard. I was like, dude, I'm never gonna find anybody. You know? Like I felt that for a long time. Like when I went to counseling, like my main issue was just like self-esteem. Like trying to build, like believe myself. Like I just like, you know, like girls might think I'm attractive, but I just like had no confidence in myself. Like, and you know, and like just meeting her, man, it was just like, it was like meant to be. It was just like, holy shit, like this is it. Like,
yeah.
And then yeah, so we just been on this like journey together, and it's just kind of cool to see like where I've come now, like where I am, like I can love myself again. You know?
Totally.
Like, it took a while, but just like, but man, if you want it hard enough, man, you can do it. Like anyone can do it. Like you just have to really want it. That's like my advice. Like I try to give people, like, you know, my mom still does this, like every Thursday she does like a Zoom meeting that she hosts with like another lady for like parents that have, you know, children that like are addicts. And she asked me like one day, she's like, you know, what was like the final thing, or what made you like finally want to do it? And I was just like, it was just like me finally it was literally just me wanting it. Like,
yeah,
I like told myself,
truly
like,
wanting it.
Like I was like, I'm tired of living this lifestyle. I'm tired of feeling this way. I'm tired of just like being woe is me, feeling bad for myself. And I was like, I'm over this. Like I want change. Yeah. And like when that like hits you hard enough, then like you can do it. Like you can slowly just like one step at a time. You know, they say like literally in meetings they say one step at a time.
Yeah.
And honestly, man, it's true. It builds up. You know, I was only on a couple, man. Now I'm like I'm flights up ahead where I started. You know. Yeah. And it's just really cool. And you know, like, and that's why like I'm always willing to like talk to anyone that like had any type of drug stuff, or like knows like or has a significant other, like they don't know how to talk to them or something. I was like, hey man, like I can go talk to them, or just try to talk to them, or like, and just all I can do is just like kind of lay down like what I went through, and that's how I got through it and everything, and just hope that like maybe there's some pieces that they're like, okay, damn, like, you know, I can do this too. Like that's all I want is for that person to believe in themselves, that they can do it. Mm-hmm. Like it's not the end of the world.
I bet meeting someone like you, I bet that's huge for somebody. I mean, because, you know, like just meeting somebody who actually got clean is like that's enough. I'm guessing that's enough of inspiration to kind of be like, okay, I can do it too. But then meeting somebody who's like, hey, I got clean, and I'm in a great relationship, and I went to college in a very lucrative industry, and I'm looking at jobs right now. It's like, I'm sure that's like very inspiring for somebody. Yeah, I'm sure of it. That's huge.
Yeah, I remember in a meeting, there's this thing this guy said that like will never like always stick with me. He was like, you know, he said, we don't have bad days. He's like, we have bad moments. He's like, unless something happens to you like every waking second for 24 hours, then you can say it's a bad day. He's like, well, we just have bad moments. And he's like, it's how you choose to react to those bad moments that like make the difference. Yeah. So it's like, yeah, when shit happens, it's like you can look at it, feed into the negativity, and like allow it to keep you down, or you can just like rise above that and be like, no, like, yeah, this is terrible, and I feel this way, and it's sad, but like, you know, there's still so much good in this life. There's so much more that's like open to us, and we just have to reach out for it. You know, that's like all we have to do. And
I love that.
I'll never
bad moments.
Yeah, dude, I'll never forget that. We don't have bad days. We have bad moments.
Yeah.
Because like I was like, damn, man, like I feel him, and like, yeah, some of those stories, yeah, like they're super inspiring. Like hearing, I've heard people go through all sorts of crazy shit, all sorts of like terrible, horrific stories of people like going through stuff where I'm like, damn, like I don't know how they could have ever gotten out of that, but then like here they are, like 12 years clean, like have their life together, they got their kids back, like it's like holy shit, like it happens. Yeah. You know.
Yeah, and that's where perspective is everything, because full transparency, when I like really wanted to quit weed, I just like, my mom was like, why don't you just go to an AA meeting with my friend she knew somebody who was in AA, and I was like, okay, like whatever. And I was at the point where you have to smoke a lot to have physical withdrawals, but I did. Just in the way...
No, you definitely will, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, even if you don't smoke, like, you don't have to smoke a lot. Like, you still, like, when you just stop something, like, cold turkey...
Yeah.
You're gonna feel it. Like, you're gonna be restless. You're gonna be, like... It's yeah, man.
Yeah. And I was, like, sweating so much. Because weed basically takes away some of the blood flow in your body. It's anticholinergic, basically.
Yeah, because it slows your heart rate, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then so I was like sweating, and I just felt like shit all the time. And then I went to this AA meeting. And first of all, I felt silly for being there because all these people were talking. They would get up and they would get the microphone and they'd be like, "I got a DUI. I lost my kids. You know, I went to jail for like a month." And I'm like, "Oh shit!" Like,
yeah.
Like I just want to be more present with my family.
Yeah.
I was like, "Damn, dude, that's." So, like, and then I got the microphone, and I was like, fuck, dude, I feel stupid right now.
Yeah.
I was like, and I wonder if people were thinking that there, but really, like, I can't worry about that.
It's I feel like people there, like, are pretty open-minded.
Yeah.
There was, like, a weird thing, too. Like, I don't know why this is such a thing, but it was, like, because, like, when I was in rehab, like, you'd go to AA meetings because there's people there for, like, just alcohol, but then you also go to NA meetings there because people that do all sorts of stuff. But it's like when I'm at an AA meeting, I say like, "Oh, because everyone's like, you know, my name is so and so, like, you know, I'm an alcoholic, you know." But it's like, you know, I say my name is Micah Reyes, and I'm an addict,
right?
You know, and I was like, you know, I abuse alcohol, but I abuse other things, and it felt like sometimes like the people would like feel a certain way, like, oh, like this should just be for people that do alcohol, like, oh, we didn't do all these other drugs, like, you know, there's definitely like people that are like that, but in the end, like, as long as you're there, there was a kid that was in my rehab that was just there for weed, you know. It's like, it's fine, man. Like, I don't care what you're there for. Like, if you're like, as long as you're on the journey, man, to like to get clean and to heal yourself, then like it really does not matter like what it is that you were doing, or like you're not any less significant to these other people that have like these crazy stories, you know. Like you guys are still all there. Like, I mean, there was a guy that so he, you know, he was an addict, but he got hit by a drunk driver, like killed their 4-year-old daughter, and then his wife hung herself because she couldn't cope with the loss of their child. And he's like, I still come to these meetings like every week with all these like potential people like you who are the ones that like killed my kid, you know. And it was just like, but he's like, you know what? He's like, but I still come here every day. He's like, I still come here every week though. He's like, you know, like, and I'm just like, damn, he's like, how do people live with shit like that? You know what I mean?
Fuck, man.
And so it's
holy
like,
shit.
And then it's like so inspiring because like he could just say fuck it all. I feel like he has every reason to, you know. But like he just like he doesn't, you know. He still shows up. He's accountable and he takes responsibility for it. And like he sits with these feelings and he deals with them. And you know, he had to come home and find that, you know what I mean? And then, but he's just like, but he like still like once he still doesn't want to drink because I mean he was an alcoholic too, but I don't think he was drinking. I don't remember. Maybe he was, but he did get hit by a drunk driver, and he was just like he's just like fucking, you know. I could understand if he had so much hate.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, and he's just like, yeah, you know, there's a bunch of potential people like you that are the ones that like, you know, killed my kid, but it's like, you know, he understands now that like what it is to be an alcoholic and what it is to like to be sober. Yeah. And like, you know, he I don't know, he found it, man. He did his thing.
I guess going to those meetings, like, it like prevents him from being like super bitter and hateful. Yeah. I guess that's kind of what is like saving him, you know, because it's easier said than done, but like the whole idea of just being lighthearted about everything and not taking everything so seriously, like that's the way you want to live life. But fuck,
that's some deep shit, man.
But like I wouldn't blame him if he was just bitter for the rest of his life and hated everything and everyone going through that. Because it's not, he didn't just lose his kid, he lost a piece of himself, and then he lost his partner, dude. Yeah. In the restaurant industry, it seems like, especially the cooks, because it's so hard that people are like, you know, it's like the only people that are willing to put themselves through that are the ones that are like kind of masochists, or they've gone through trauma. Like Gordon Ramsay, he had a lot of trauma in his childhood. His dad was like a drunk, and then he would cook dinner for his family, and it was like He was under a lot of stress, and most of the great chefs, at least the ones that are very famous, like Anthony Bourdain, they've all gone through like insane levels of trauma. So it's only those type of people that are willing to put themselves through the hell of like a dinner service or something.
Yeah.
And then there's like, and then the downtown location of where we work. There's a quote by Anthony Bourdain saying that the restaurant industry, it attracts misfits, you know, and the people that are the strange people that don't have a home. They just find a home. They find a place to go.
Yeah.
And so does that help you, like, in terms of working in the restaurant industry? Does that help you, like, given everything that you've gone through? Does that help you deal with the stress of like a really busy day or something?
I don't know if it helps me like deal with the stress, but it is nice to just connect with people, and like I always end up just running into people that have very like similar stories. I mean, like for example, you know, he's gone through a lot of shit too, like when in his younger years.
I hope to have him on the podcast.
And he's gone through some stuff too, and it's just like it's kind of cool. We're like, oh damn, like, you know, we can like talk about these things and like joke around with these things. I don't know so much like if I feel like I found a home type deal, but like I found like a community and like people that like are just like really like genuine people, because like damn, like he's gone through shit like me, so like I feel like we're like similar in that way,
right?
Yeah, because I mean I used to be a cook, and that's how I started. You know,
right.
It's very similar. Like everyone in the back of the house, they're all like doing shit and blah blah blah. And like I was cooking for like 5 or 6 years before I like moved over to the front of the house and started like you know, serving, and I did busing and running, and then you know, then serving, and then now, you know, bartending.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, I don't know. It's just I definitely like love the people I work with. I'm just tired of doing the work.
Sure.
So it's kind of like that thing. Like you could work really hard at your job, but like nothing really ever changes. You know, like, you know, I could work really hard, but it's just always the same. And then this is like it just, you know, it just can burn me out. And yeah, it's just.
Yeah, it's a wild industry. It's definitely it's not for the faint of heart, especially like being a server, because you could be like so pissed off, and then it's,
you gotta smile and
welcome,
be nice.
What can I get for you?
Yeah,
oh, you hate your food? Oh, I'm sorry. I will take care of that. You know, I'll go let them know.
People treat you like shit. Like,
yeah,
you know,
like when I was a dishwasher and I was having a really bad day, I could just have a bad day and be pissed off.
Oh yeah, no one's gonna come back there and bother you.
But like if I like drop a glass in the back, like dropping stuff off at the dish pit, I'm like really pissed off, and then I have to go to the host stand, and then I'm like, and then people come in, and I'm like, all right, I just have to put it aside. Yeah. I'm like, hey guys, welcome in. And like, you know, it's a very good skill, and it's so cool watching you guys in action, because I envy you. Like, I want to be a server really bad, and I feel like I could be good at it.
Oh hell yeah, dude!
I feel like I have
the personality that's meant for it.
And yeah, I feel like I do have the personality, but then it's also that like I genuinely would love it, because I haven't done it, so I'm not even close to the level of like being burnt out, and I'm in school, so it's like I could give myself like so like it would be like excusable for me to be 26 and still, you know, working a job like that. But yeah, because there's some servers that like genuinely you could tell just don't enjoy it.
Yeah, dude. 100%, man. Yeah. It's just like there's always something going on. Like I'm low key kind of wary too, because like, you know, I'm looking for like a remote job where like basically I'm gonna go from like having this like community and just like actually like, just talking to people as like a living, to like not talking to, just barely talking to anyone, just maybe just people, like my manager, like certain meetings with other employees, but just basically just being
through
myself.
A chat probably.
Yeah,
you know,
basically like through Zoom or whatever. So it's like I don't even really know exactly how that's gonna affect me until I start doing it.
Yeah.
But I just know like what I'm doing in the long run is going to be better for me.
Right.
Like, I mean, I want to make more money. I want to like build a career, like work for somewhere. I want to like build a retirement. I don't want to just like work my whole life and then just like not have anything afterwards. I would like to have something that I can like relax on, and then just develop my own personal skills. Like I want to get better at this stuff. Like, you know, I feel like I've got it. I've got the serving down. I've got the customer service down. Like, you know, there's not really much more I could do, you know,
sure,
like with it, like as far as like personal growth goes, or professional growth, I mean. So like I want to be more stimulated, like mentally, like I want to do like problem solving and like do like really, you know, like I just want to challenge myself more. And so that's kind of like, you know, I know it might be hard, like like not going to be like talking to as many people and just be able to talk about, you know, just be able to bullshit at work and have a good time, you know, because we're all like fucking pissed or don't like, we could all be in bad moods, but everyone like, you know, it's fine. We just get through it together and then we just vent and talk about it afterwards. Like I will miss that, you know, like for sure. But you know, like, but that's like one of those sacrifices. They're like, if I want to like, the lifestyle that me and Michaela want to have, you know, I'm not going to be able to achieve that staying where we work.
And that's crazy to me that it's like not stimulating to you. It makes all the sense in the world because you've done it for so long, but like because I want to be a server, I couldn't imagine having like 5 tables at once. You know, like, to me that's like like an insane concept. You know,
I mean, it is stimulating. Like don't get me wrong, like it's just stimulating in a different way. Like because like at some point, like I just flip the switch, dude. Because like as a bartender, like if I'm doing tables, like we each get 6 tables, and then we have to like make our drinks, bust our like, and then usually try to bust and clean our tables all. We basically try to do it all ourselves. It's nice when like support comes out there and helps,
right? And
everything. But yeah, like especially if there's only 2 bartenders, because then we also have to make all the drinks the servers ring in.
Yes.
So it's like so it's like it's a different type of stimulation. You just kind of like you flip the switch, man, and you just go, and then like it's all. I'm basically just running off muscle memory,
right?
And like sometimes, like I'll say like some of the things I'm like such on autopilot. Like I'll say like this, you know, I'll just say the same shit to the tables, and like sometimes I'll make like have different variations, but it's like when I'm busy, it's like same thing. I just like try to get and just you know you get into your zone, you figure out like what works for you, like, but like it's not like I don't get to like sit and like really like think hard about like what I'm doing. Like I'm not like making the drinks for where we work, you know, like that'd be cool if I like had to go like test, like make some things and try to get something on the menu or something like that. That's different.
Yeah,
rather
that's
than
creative.
Like, than just doing what people tell me all day long.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like I'm literally just like their personal assistant or whatever. Like by the whole time that they're sitting there, I'm do whatever they ask for, you know?
Yeah.
And that's what I think burns me out, and that's like where it's like it's not stimulating. Like I want to do more like for people. I want to do more like for myself. I just want to be able to like it's just different, man. I just like I'm ready to like move on to this next stage and really like go get into like my personal career. And just kind of see where that takes me, man. Because like me and Michaela, like you know what we want, like we want to get a house, we want to try and get some land, you know, we want to get some livestock, have like our garden and greenhouse stuff. Do like, you know, we have this like idea that we talk about, but like there's just no way I'd ever be able to do that working work.
I'll bleep it out.
Sorry, yeah, man. It just. Like I it's fun, I love it, but it's just like it's not gonna get me to where I want. Like I just keep going back to that quote. Like I need to work more on myself. Like you know, if I can increase my value, if I can double what my self-worth is, and I can easily double my income or triple it, whatever it is, you know.
Yeah.
And
it must feel. It probably. I mean, constantly wanting more and more. It's like a stress. But even worse than that would be the ignorance. Or the lack of awareness of being like satisfied with where you are. Yeah. Could you imagine that? Yeah. I mean, it's
that man. Honestly, like you know, like I love him. He's like my best friend. Like I fucking love that dude. Like I'll fucking do anything for that guy. You know, if he ever need anything, like I'm fucking there. But like I remember like having this conversation with him, and I was just like, yeah, man. Like I was just telling him like kind of what I wanted, like you know, like what I want to do, and like dude, like low key, like. Is one of the smartest people I've ever met. Like he's got like a photographic memory, dude. Like he fucking like can read something and just fucking remembers it. Like I remember in high school we had like biology. We had the same biology teacher, just different periods. And like he literally was the one that set the curve like on like our midterms and like our tests because he was like the only one that was like getting like 98s and like acing these things, right? And like I remember telling me like, yeah, man, he's like, I sleep. He's like, I always sleep in biology. I'm like, what the fuck? And then so one day I went there and I was like, I like had my head down. And she was like, got all mad at me and like was telling me to wake up. And then I was like, well, what's in here? I was like, he tells me he gets to sleep all the time. And she like looked at me dead in the face and was like, well, that kid's a genius. And I was like, damn. Wow. You know, like I feel like if like applied himself, dude, like he can literally do anything he fucking wants to. But like, and then I asked him one day, I was like, yeah, man, I was just like. do you ever think you just want more? Like, do you want like to do more, like to go do things? And he was like, what's more? And like got all like defensive and like got upset. And I was like, I wasn't expecting that reaction from him. You know, I was like, you know, we're like best friends. Like we should be talking about things and like our future, like what we want or how are we going to do it. And like I wanted to share that with him, but he got like so defensive. I'm like not saying that like what he's doing is bad.
Right.
Like, yeah, you can be very content and like you can have a living doing what you want, but I'm like, but then you're gonna be tied to like that one place, like you're, you know, and then if it's and then if you wanted to move somewhere else, like you're gonna have to go, you know what I mean? It's just like,
yeah,
that's just like what he's gonna have to do. But like I want to be able to like, I want to be able to travel the world and make an income doing it and like go seeing things, man. Like because there's so much, man, in this world that's around the world, and like I feel like I've just barely scratched the surface. And like just being in the military, I got to go to certain places, but man, I want to go go walk through the Amazon forest, you know. I want to go like Everest, you know. I want to go to Japan, you know. Like I want to like go all these places, and like I feel like I just can't do that when I'm like, you know, tied to my work where I'm at right now, you know, because like, you know, I don't get paid when I'm not there. Like, you know, I'm already like, having to take days off to go, like, you know, I've got band practice, or I got a show, or, you know, I got a climbing event, or I got all these things. Well, it also hurts me to go do that financially. Yeah. You know, like I want to be able to go do things still, but I'm also taking a loss. And, you know, I don't want it to be like that. I want it to be like I'm still like not taking a loss to go like enjoy myself. Yeah. You know, it can be really hard. And I feel like just working in the restaurant industry for 10 plus years, like it just like it's starting to just catch up to me. It was easy when I was just like more simple minded, didn't really like have any goals and stuff like that. It was just like really easy. It's very comfortable. It's very easy to just stay because it's nice, it's fun, you know, and you I like the people you work with, and it could be I feel like I became too complacent with it, and you know, and like I just wanted to like share that with and you know, it was hard. You know, I didn't like mean to offend him. I'm not saying like what his choice is bad, you know, but I just like, you know, I just asked him like, you know, cause you know, wants to have kids and doesn't want to have kids, and like, you know, she wants to get a house and like all this other stuff and blah blah blah. And I'm just like, but like, man, like you're so smart, bro. Like you're fucking like, you're so sharp, dude. Like I feel like anything you wanted to, man. Like I wish I had what you had, you know. Yeah. Like I've always been like so envious of him, man. He's just like, he's fucking smart as shit, dude.
Well, that level of defensiveness, 99% of the time, that's an indication that somebody's not content. Like I have friends who are, you know, they're struggling because their dating lives are just going really badly, or like they're just not happy with who they are. Like they want to lose weight, they want to get more fit. And I'll ask like, I'm like, how are you? And then they're like, I'm fine, dude. I'm good. Like what? Oh yeah. It's just like, okay, you're not good. Yeah. You know, so like if he really was content, then would you say like, then when you said like, don't you want more than to work like where we work? Yeah. Then he would have said like, no, what do you mean, man? I love it. Yeah. I really love, but the answer of, well, what's more? Like, what could I possibly want? That means he's struggling with that a lot as well. You know, it's always an indicator. So the way somebody responds to a question is always an indicator, regardless of what their response is. The tone and the way that they answer it is always an indicator of how they actually feel about that thing. Yeah. Without a doubt. Yeah. And this was not even like that long ago, man, because it was like while I was still in school, you know, because like, you know, because like there are people that say that like, no, like school, like sometimes college could be like bullshit, whatever. You pay all this money and blah blah blah, and you get out and it's like it's hard to get a job, blah blah. But I was like, you still learn a lot that's there. And you know, and he was like telling me about that. He's just like, you know, like he doesn't want to go to school. He thinks it's like, you know, he thinks it's a waste of time. But I'm like, you know, there's still things you can do. But I was like, yeah, I was like trying to understand like his thought process, but it was like even hard for him to like articulate. It's almost like he didn't even know why he didn't wants more. Like maybe that was like what's frustrating him, or because like, you know, like I just like, yeah, because like when he like, yeah, like define more, right? That's like what he wants me to do. And I'm like, well, it's just like
more is just what you want for yourself, like your personal growth. Like, do you, like, you can just, like, it's not bad that you can make a living and still have a good time and do all that stuff, but like, is there anything else like you just want to do in life, man? Like, he was like really into music and like wanting, like, making beats and doing stuff like that, like, you know, but like, it's like his drive has always been shut down, or because like every time he's tried to like do something outside of, you know, like anything like creative, anything that he like truly like wanted to try doing, it felt like his parents like kind of shut it down, like, oh no, like you need to like find a, you know, a stable job and do this and that, and like he didn't have a lot of support. That was like him growing up, you know. So I feel like, you know, that's something that's just stayed with him. You know, he's worried about, like, you know, like how, you know, his family will view him or something like that, or, you know, I'm not exactly sure, but
and that turns into how you view you. That really, you know, because if someone's like shutting down your creative endeavors or your creative interests, or, you know, or things that you might be wanting to pursue, eventually you just start shutting yourself down. And then also, as you get older, it just comes with getting older, like you become less willing to just like, all right, let me just learn Mandarin. I'm just gonna start learning Mandarin, you know? It's like that's just kind of the way it goes. And then also, as you start getting stuck into a certain lifestyle and you start getting bogged down by bills and, you know, all those things, it's like the possibility of doing new things, going new places, that like the possibility of like doing those things really starts to diminish. So you start like shutting down like those thoughts, and then a lot of it just comes out of insecurity as well. You know, like it's possible that when he thinks about what more is, he just kind of counters those thoughts with like, oh, nothing. You know, because as like a safety mechanism, maybe. Like that could be very, very possible. And that's tough, man. Getting older is not easy. And I'm 25. I know, like, maybe to you 25 seems like, but
I wish I was 25 again. If I could have this mindset at 25 years old, it'd just be a totally different ballgame. I mean, like, not like completely different, but just like I would have done more with my time.
Sure.
You know, I feel like I wasted like a big chunk of my 20s just getting high and partying and whatever, having sex and doing all sorts of stuff. And like, sure, like it was fun in the moment, but it's like, you know, this goes back to that talk we've had of like living a life of pleasure or living a life of meaning. And it's like I'm just looking for more meaning in my own life, and that's what more is for me. Is like I want to find like some meaning. I want to be fulfilled. You know, I want my life to feel that way.
And your actions are matching that desire, and that's the number one thing. Like absolutely everything that you've said. You know, like to where you've gone to school and you're trying to start the Amazon thing, and even like your music, like you're just trying to do more and more and more, and you're not, and it's beautiful because you're not only pursuing like professional endeavors, you're trying to like stretch yourself in terms of like everything. You're trying to pursue growth in so many different areas, getting better at climbing, getting better at music. You know, it's just, and that's really amazing. And one of my favorite quotes that I learned about a year or so ago, there was this guy on Instagram, and he lives in Detroit, and he has a cold plunge in his backyard, and he has a sledgehammer, and he fucking like hits the thing, and he gets in, and he's fucking dying, dude. And he said, discipline is sacrificing something you want now for something better later. And that was the whole thing about like not smoking weed anymore. That was like, because, you know, you feel terrible, and like you may not be sleeping as well, but it's like, do you want to sleep a little worse now and then be more cognizant later, or do you want to just sleep better now and then, you know, maybe not be doing so great when you're in your 60s, be forgetting things, develop dementia. Like I used to think that my biggest fear was like being alone. But I think my biggest fear is forgetting, and not having a functional mind. I think that's my biggest fear. You know, and if you're a big stoner, you like even if you're in your 20s, you experience moments of that where you're so spaced out. Like you put your phone here, and then you're like, wait, where's my phone? and then it's right here. That's like, it's a scary moment, you know?
Yeah.
And it isn't until you actually start thinking about like the consequences of that, or you start thinking about, okay, what if that's with like everything though? Like, what if you just, your whole life is like a blur?
Yeah.
And then you can't remember your kids' names or something. Like, that's my biggest fear. I don't know about you, but like, I love like being at the restaurant we work at and like remembering somebody and remembering somebody's name, or being on the expo line and seeing a ticket, and then you see that item and you're like, oh, that's for table 112. I'm gonna go. You know, that's everything to me. Having a good mind.
Yeah, remembering like all the regulars' names. Like, I know a lot of people by first name now.
Yeah.
Like, you know, sometimes it's like it was hard to remember, but like, but yeah, like it's cool too because like, you know, you want to build this lifestyle, and then like you just start attracting people that are like also trying to build the same lifestyle. And I think that's so important to like not feel that you have to like do this all by yourself.
Right.
You know, and like even like Robin Williams said, it was like one of the saddest things is like being around people that like make you feel alone. So it's like, you know, you don't want to like, so basically like, yeah, man, like there's certain people that like, you know, you might just have to cut off, even if you guys were like childhood friends or something. But it's like, if they're just like so negative and stuff, that's like, you need to be around people that like are on the same, like are on the same path as you in their own way. Like, and, it's just kind of cool. I feel like a lot of people that like that I'm hanging out with, like it's just they're all like on their own journeys, and it's cool that we can like talk about this and like, you know, and it sucks that like I can't like talk about this with, you know, or you know, and you know, it's just like he's still like my best friend. Like I love him to death. I'm like, man, like I feel like this is like something that like we should be able to talk about this more than anyone else. Like me, him, and Evan, you know? So it's just like...
Yeah, definitely.
It's like... And like, I could talk about this with Evan all the time. And like, I think it's cool. We always like... We can get really good in talks, and we talk about things, try to figure things out. He's like trying to figure out how to, you know, better his future and things like this. Like, not saying that like it's bad, but you know, it's just like, yeah, it's just cool that he wants to just like, he wants to see what he's capable of. It's all about like your personal potential too. Like what can you do in this world? You know? Like,
what can you really do? What's the limits that you can push yourself to? You know, and once you break through one barrier, then you realize like, oh, I can go further and further and further. Like, this is crazy. Yeah. But once you it's really sad putting yourself in a box and thinking like, well, I just can't do anything, you know, because I can't even do that. I can't even brush my teeth. So like, how am I supposed to get a degree and then get a job that pays $100,000 a year? Like, how am I even supposed to do that? You know, but once you just do just like one thing, then it just snowballs. Yeah. And when I was living like very irresponsibly, I still like worked out every single day, and I kept having this thought. I was like, this discipline that I have to exercise 6-7 days a week, like this has to carry into something eventually. It has to. And now I read every single night before bed, you know, and I'm like very responsible, and I'm like super accountable. So like, so now I'm at a place where it has snowballed, but I was like, there's just a time where I was like, when is this gonna like carry into something else? Like, it has to. It's inevitable. Yeah. You know?
Yeah. Climbing had like the same effect on me, because like when I first started, man, like I couldn't do a pull up anymore. Like I couldn't like even support like my own body weight, and I was like, you know, how did I ever get to this point? And then like, as I've been climbing and like progressing, like there have been things where like there's like no way I'm gonna be able to climb that. You know, like this is just way out of my league. Like I don't, and then it's just like, but then like I got there and I'm like, holy shit, I did it. I climbed it. Yeah. And I'm like, you know, fuck, like what happens if I put this much effort into something else in my life? Yeah. You know, because like I was climbing like in the beginning like 4 or 5 times a week, man. I was going, because I was working at Amazon, and I was going, you know, I was going like after work, like, almost like as much as I could. And then like it really like helped me change the way I like perceived other things in my life. So I was like, holy shit, dude, like if I can like do this and do what I thought was impossible in the beginning, I'm like, damn, like let's take all this energy, let's put this into school. Like,
that's amazing.
Let's put this into music. Like, man, like if I actually just put in this work, I'm like, holy shit, man, like you will see results. It might not be the thing you wanted to get to exactly, but like you will improve. Yeah. Like as long as you put in that effort, man, like you will always improve. There's like, it's impossible not to if you put in the effort. Yeah. You know? Truly
put in the effort. Like push yourself to the absolute limits. Because sometimes you can convince yourself to like, you know, I've given all that I could today, you know, but did you really?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that's
I have those
that's
days all the
amazing.
time.
Yeah.
There's some
Totally.
days that are better than others, but like, yeah, at the end of the day though, it's like, okay, but at least I'm still working forward, and like, but I just gotta keep remembering that I gotta keep looking at the end, you know.
Yeah.
What's the end game gonna be?
Yeah.
And like, yeah, some days are harder than others, but man, you just keep working. Keep working on yourself, man. Like, you will see yourself grow. You'll see, and you'll start attracting other people into your lives, and you know, it's just it's a cool cycle, man.
Yeah. Energy is everything. And it's like once you just become like a truly happy person, you start giving out this energy, and it kind of is like a sixth sense that we have as human beings, to where you see somebody and then you either go towards them and you're like, ooh, you know.
Yeah.
And you were talking about social anxiety earlier, and it's one of the things besides like just interacting with people all day, and when you bring a flatbread to an old lady and she's like, oh my god, that looks amazing, that fills my heart so much. I just love that. But also, one of the greatest things about working in a restaurant is that you people watch all day.
Yeah.
Like when I'm at the host stand, people come in and they're like, door.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go in the bar.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, like you just like those people must be so anxious.
Yeah.
They must be incredibly anxious.
Yeah.
It's fucking crazy, man.
Yeah.
I'm sure you experienced it. Like, what can I get for you? I'll take a beer.
Yeah.
Beer. Martini.
Yeah, I have to like get like real close to them. I gotta lean in. I'm like, I'm sorry, can you say that again?
Or they're at the
Like-
menu, they're like, lemon drop.
Oh, yeah.
What kind? Huckleberry.
Yeah.
Please go away. You know. It's
Or like, yeah, I'll sit there and just, like, before I can even say anything, they'll be like, I'll take a water, or like they'll just like order their food right away. I'm like, all right, like you just all right, they don't want to talk. They just I'll just get their food. Like, it's fine.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
And that would suck to be them, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, to have that much anxiety, because we're around people all the time, like as humans, like to have your nervous system be like, oh my god, I had to like talk to somebody. Like, that would be so stressful, man.
The most social anxiety that I feel nowadays is like the job interviews. Like, I went to like my first job interview,
Sure.
and I was like anxious as fuck. But I feel like but in my head though, I'm like, no, I know I can talk to these people, but like, why did I feel so fucking anxious? It's just because like, you know, obviously, you know, I want the job. I don't want to like, don't want to talk too much. But like, damn, yeah. When I was sitting there, I'm just like, I bet I look nervous as fuck right now. I'm like, fuck,
Well,
you know, like,
the stakes are high.
yeah.
I mean, it is like the how well you do in that interview is like that's like your future is contingent upon that interview. So like that makes sense.
Yeah, the way I've kind of broken it down is just like every conversation has like three parts. It's what you want to say, what you actually say, and what you wish you said after it's done. And so it's like, and then I think like, cause like it's never gonna like be exactly perfect, but like you just have to accept that. But that's just gonna be the process. Like, no matter what it is, even if you feel like you did good, or you're like, oh man, maybe I probably should have did this, or you just gotta let it flow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Dude, that makes a lot of sense. And that's also like watching like all of you servers and bartenders, like you just have, and that was what I realized at the downtown location, is that because there's all these people who like clearly like they looked like miserable people, and they kind of looked like they like partied a lot and didn't really take care of themselves. But then I talked to them, and it's like, I'm like, oh my god, like you have really good people skills.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, you talk to people all day. So it's like, I feel like that's really gonna serve you in these job interviews that you're having. Because it's, I mean, you interview or you interact with like thousands of people a month, probably.
Yeah.
You know, and that's something that like you probably take for granted, rightfully so, because that's just your existence.
Now, yeah.
But like, man, as an outsider, somebody who was just working construction a couple of years ago and was interacting with nobody and had my social skills were like diminishing, I would look at you guys, I would look at even support or like hosts, and it's like you just have a way with words, because your social battery is being drained every single day.
Yeah.
And then when your social battery is drained, it replenishes like past the point that it was before. And that's just like the reality of life. And so that's what's so amazing about our industry. It's not for the long haul. If you have like that's the case with some of the female servers. This is the case with some of the female servers at our restaurant. You know, their husbands have like a really good job and they just have a job so they don't like go insane, you know?
Yeah.
And so, you know, it's like, so they just do that to just, you know, make a little money and to like get out of the house and stuff.
Which I think is super healthy.
Super healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like if that's the case, then you can be a server for a while. You can work in a restaurant for quite a while, but it's not for the long haul, man.
Yeah. Unless you're like pursuing management and like working your way up and like planning on making a living that way.
Sure.
Then like, yeah, I think that's totally fine. There's like certain people that like have gone to management and like, yeah, this is what they want to do. They want to work their way up and like, yeah, that's awesome. Like, you know, that's what they want, and I'm 100% supportive. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it's just like, yeah, like I've already known that like this is not what I wanted to do forever. Like I think it's awesome, like learning how to bartend and like make drinks, and like if I ever like desperately needed a job, I could easily just go get a bartending gig now, which like I'm grateful for. Like I will always have that on my belt. Like if I like get laid off or like, you know, something happens, like I can always go and get a bartending job, like no matter what. Like which definitely like makes me feel good. Like I'll always have that as a fail safe if I needed something. But you know, I just don't want to do that for the rest of my life. You know, it's just I can't like I want to I put so much energy into like for these other people where like I need to save some for myself. You know, and like I really just like you know that's that kind of thing where I'm getting at, where it's like I'm just like sometimes I'm just like frustrated that like, you know, I just, you know, like I'm not being able to spend time with Michaela, and I'm coming home late, staying up late, and you know, and which like I have good times, like I'll play games with, you know, with other people from work and other things like that, but like, you know, it's just it's fun. Like I don't deny that. Like it's a good time, but like I just, you know, it's just like not where I'm at right now. And yeah, and also like because this last week, man, like I basically had like the last thing that I really felt that was like kind of just like putting me down and like making me like feel like I'm not gonna be able to do this or not gonna be able to do that. So I don't know if I ever told you, but like, you know, I had like a felony on my record. Like I've got like a felony on my record, right? Well, this past Monday I had like my court hearing, and I got it reduced and expunged. So like it's like completely off my record.
Oh, that's terrific.
I went through like all this shit, you know, like 7 years. I was on probation for like 4 years, and then like all this other stuff and everything, man. Like, you know, I've spent time in jail, you know, and you know, and that was like the one thing where I was like, fuck, man, because, you know, I'm looking for professional work, you know, and I gotta check off that I'm a felon. And it's like, fuck, dude, like no one's gonna hire me. Like, even though I went to school and all this other shit, I felt like that was like, it was very discouraging for a while, you know. I mean, I was still just trying to like work through it, and, you know, still just apply and still just try to give it my all. And, you know, if they talk to me or ask me questions about it, just be honest, let them know, and like what I've done since then. But now that shit is gone. Yeah. Like because I got in trouble in 2018. And since then, I haven't gotten in any trouble. I had like no violations. I did everything I had to do. I paid all my court fees. I did fucking everything, man. And like now that thing is gone. Like I just feel like there's been a lot of extra weight that has just been lifted.
Yeah,
and like
man.
Now, like I'm not bound by anything. Like I wasn't even like allowed to leave the country. But now that that's done, fuck yeah, dude, I want to go to Japan. I want to go to like all these places. Like, so that's why like this is on my radar now, and now I'm like I'm more motivated than ever. Like, because like I was waiting for the court hearing, but you know, I don't know what was gonna happen. The judge could say no, or like you know what I mean. So I was still kind of like I don't know what's gonna happen. But now that that's done, I'm like, all right, man. There's no fucking stopping me. Like I never want to get in trouble again. I never want to do anything like that again. And like, you know, it's just going up, man, from here on out. And like, you know, Michaela's like super proud of me. She's super, she knew all about that stuff. And, you know, I'm like just so thankful for her to like just be supportive and know that I don't think her family knows about the felony. They know about like my drug history. They didn't know about that. And like, but that was like a big factor for me, like getting onto this next stage of like my professional career too, I feel like. And I'm not saying it's like impossible for me to get a job or anything, like it can totally still happen, but yeah, but just the fact that that's gone, And not only was it reduced, bro, like it's expunged, so like it's off my shit, like.
Oh
so,
man,
like,
that must
like,
be so. That's part of the motivating factor of you wanting to travel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right now, I'm like, I'm fucking free now, dude. Like,
Yeah.
let's fucking
Yeah.
go, dude. And then like, yeah, so having a good job that can make money, like while like remote, I can just bring my laptop, just in the internet, bro. And I can make my income. And then I got the Amazon thing, which will just be like recurring every month, so you get paid every month from it. And then like it might be really small at the beginning, but as I get more and more videos out and do these things, and I can make an extra $2-3 grand a month or something, you know, just every month, just coming in on top of my job. Like, so like basically like in the next 2 years, man, I'm hoping to get a job that pays at least minimum $60K a year on top of, you know, this Amazon grind. I want to try and like just make like at least like $7K a month. And if I can do that, then I've already like doubled or tripled basically what I'm doing now.
Right.
You know?
And that whole Mexico, the you wanting to go to Mexico, that's like going to Japan. That's, you know, you got to have, you know, that's going to be like somewhat expensive. But dude, going to Mexico and just staying in some relatively cheap hotel, like, first of all, well, my family has a timeshare at a very nice resort.
Which one is it? Because Michaela's parents have a timeshare. It's like a 5-star.
Mayan Palace.
Okay. Theirs is Puerto Vallarta or something like that.
Oh, it's Nuevo Vallarta.
I don't know if that's the one.
It's in Puerto Vallarta.
Okay, maybe that's what it is. Yeah, it's like a super nice resort though, and like
it's huge.
I've been wanting to go, and so like Michaela said, yeah, you know, we can just go out there, and like her best friend speaks Spanish. You know, she looks white as hell, but she's like full Mexican. It's crazy.
Some of them are really white,
like,
dude.
When I first met her, I was like, "What? You're Mexican? Like, you're bullshitting me, right?" But she like I met her parents though, like her mom, and I was like, "Oh shit, okay, it makes sense." And like, yeah, and you know, she speaks Spanish, so she like will come with us, and you know, she can, you know, it's just I'm excited, man. Like now, like I don't have anything to like just hold me back.
That's fucking awesome. And if you have that, even if you have that, the timeshare through your girlfriend's family. Even if like you got to pay a little bit of money, you still have that connection to stay in an insane resort like that. But the thing about at least from my perspective, like the resorts that we're able to go to, it totally disconnects you from like an authentic experience of Mexico. I see what you're
saying. Yes.
So if for some reason that's not an option and you got to stay in like a hotel that's like more modest, I guess there's like a lot of positives that come with that. Mm-hmm. I mean, and it's like the exchange rate, I'm sure, is still very favorable.
Yeah, totally affordable.
Yeah, so that'll be fucking awesome, dude. I'm happy for you, man. And again, like that's something that you could do, and like that's something that you could look forward to in like the near future, honestly, because it's not insanely expensive. My cousin, he's like a writer. He writes like scripts, and he makes good money now, but he wasn't for a long time. And him and his wife. Him and his now wife, they would go on trips to like, you know, France or something, but they would do it so like intentionally to where it was very cheap. Yeah. But they just were able to make it happen. They stayed in like really shitty places, but they were but then they were able to experience these other countries and these other cultures. So yeah, that's amazing, dude. Oh man, I'm so happy for you.
Thank you. Yeah, it feels good to just like finally like just like that was like the last thing, and I felt that was like the last like heavyweight I had like on my life right now.
Yeah.
And it's gone. So it's just like, you know, it feels really good. And then yeah, like Michaela, you know, she wants to do her yoga thing and like teach online, so she wants to go to these different countries and like do cool yoga videos and like beautiful locations and just, you know, just do all this sorts of stuff. And so this is gonna be cool that like we can just go, and she's got her thing and I have my thing, and like we can go stay for a couple months if we want to, or whatever. Get a work visa or whatever to see how long we can stay, and like you know? And so her best friend's husband's brother actually owns a school in Japan and stuff like that. So like,
what kind of school?
I think it's just like an elementary school or something like that. And
he owns it, like he owns the,
or like or like he's partial owner or something like that.
Like he owns the real estate.
Maybe it's the real estate. I'm not sure, something like that. But he said like if we needed to, like if we wanted to come and like we could just go like teach English and like have a place to stay. Like the school would provide you with like a place to stay if you come out for a couple months. But but doing that would it gives us permission to stay for like a longer period of time than just like a normal tourist,
right?
Because like you're only allowed to stay for like up to like 30 days with a visa or something like that. But like if we were able to get in with the school, then like we could potentially stay there for like a year,
right?
You know what I mean? And then like still be able to work our own jobs.
Yeah.
Be able to like volunteer or work or do whatever. Like if basically we would just be talking to the kids in English, which is that's normal. I would love to just go and talk like just talk to like the Japanese kids. I want to know like their thoughts on things and just like their culture and but now we have the opportunity to like do that. And
especially if you're working remotely, that's huge, man.
And Japan itself is also like very strict with letting felons into their country. Like if you have a felony, like it's like they basically like won't let you in. Like you have to write a letter and like ask for permission and like this whole process to have them let you in.
Right.
And now I don't have to worry about that anymore. I can just go. So it's like
that's huge, man.
Yeah. And I was like so sad, dude, and that was like making me depressed because like Japan has always been like my number one, dude. Like I've always wanted to go there, and I was like, I just fucked myself. Like I'm not ever gonna be able to go anymore. Like because I made a stupid mistake when I was younger, and like now it's just like but I did the work, I paid the price, and I learned from my mistakes, and yeah, man. So it's like, no, I'm ready to go, bro. Like
one thing that I've heard about Japan is that we have matcha here. It's real matcha in Japan. That shit is like real fucking matcha.
Yes. Yeah.
So that'll be fucking sick.
Yeah.
They have matcha ice cream, matcha tea as we have here. It's like matcha everything. Yeah. It's fucking awesome, dude.
I just want to eat all the food, get some like good ass sushi.
Some street food, dude.
Yeah.
Oh,
I want to go to Okinawa too because Okinawa is also a blue zone. So they have one of the highest populations of Centaurians, people that are over 100 years old.
What?
Yeah. So like there's Sardinia in Italy was like another blue zone, and then Michaela went to Sardinia this like last summer, or I think it was 2 summers ago, and then I would like to check Okinawa and just look at the people, the culture, their diet, like. Obviously, they're doing something right because these people that are old, they're not like decrepit, like bedridden. They're like walking down the street, going buying their groceries. Like it's like that's what I want, dude. Like I want to be like because they're just active. They're like they do everything themselves, like working in gardens and they go play with their grandkids or all this other stuff, and they're just like active people. Like even my grandpa is 93 years old. He like just broke his hip. He like fell over in the middle of the night, like broke his hip, like all this other stuff. He had like some surgery and stuff, but dude, he's walking without a cane.
No shit.
Yeah, dude, he's like so motivated to be with us and around his family, like, and like he wants to come out and spend time when we have family gatherings and stuff. And so like he's like so like he walks everywhere, never takes elevators, always takes the stairs. Like he like walks like a mile a day or something like that. And like it's like fucking commendable, bro. Like dude. I'm like, dude, you're 93, broke your fucking hip, and like
how old was he when he broke his hip?
90. I think he was still 93. It was, or maybe 92. Because this happened like. Probably like 6 months ago, 7 months ago. But dude, like he's not like it's not like perfect, but he's like he's about trying to heal himself. He said he told me that like it's you just gotta stay in motion. Mm-hmm. He's like you just gotta keep moving because like he was at a hospice and he was like seeing people die all the time and all this other shit, and he was just like. He was like, I don't want to be like these other people.
He's like, couldn't be me.
Yeah. So it's just like, it's super cool to see him do that. And like, one thing I think about, so both of my grandmothers passed away like just a couple years ago, like 2 years ago, like they both passed away in like the same year. So like both my grandpas are still alive, but both my grandmas have passed. Unfortunately, one of my grandmother had dementia. And she just like couldn't take care of herself. She just passed because of that. Mm-hmm. But the other one, I think it was like heart complications and stuff like that. But like, I know their lifestyle. Like she wasn't doing much. She was just like always just at the house watching TV, drinking Mountain Dews, and like, you know what I mean. And like that goes to show that like. But my grandpa like. He has a little ukulele group. My Filipino grandpa. So he's got like a little ukulele group. He goes and practices with. He's still driving around, going to places, walking around, like doing things, like staying active, and like you know, he doesn't smoke cigarettes anymore. He was like a smoker for like 50 plus years or something like that. And it's like, it's crazy,
Whoa.
like to see that, like, yeah, like when he stops doing all that stuff and just stays active, like not crazy, but like just moving.
Just
Like,
a little bit.
yeah, man,
Yeah.
It does wonders for the body, man. And so like just to see that in both my grandpas, like I'm like, damn, like that's why I want to be. I want to be like that. Like I want to, like, I don't want to stop. I want to be rock climbing until like as long as I fucking can.
Yeah.
Like I see old couples come in that are like, they're clearly got to be like in their 60s.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're fucking up there climbing. Their muscles are still fucking like defined. I'm like, fuck yeah, dude, goals.
Yes.
Those are fucking goals, man. Like, I was like, Jesus Christ. Like I would love that. I'd love to be like that cute little old couple that comes in there just going out in the crags, still climbing. Like,
that's fucking badass, dude.
yeah, like it's such props to them, man. And it just comes down to lifestyle, and I do think diet.
Yeah.
You know, I'm moving in with Michaela, dude, because she's like really on it. She's really like really conscious about what she puts in her body and the things that we cook, the way we cook it, you know, and everything else. And like, and it shows, man. Like just living and moving in with her, like I just lost weight just eating better and like eliminating a lot of sugar. And just like not eating,
you look good.
and not eating at like work as much anymore. Like I will still eat, but like I choose like better options, and then I'm not just eating all the greasy like bad stuff. But like even if I do though, like I'm still active enough where I feel like I can burn it off. And
Yeah, our food is not fucking healthy, dude.
like there's healthier choices, obviously, like
Sure.
some salads, but like I'll just get like some grilled chicken with like maybe some rice pilaf or like a little bit of mashed potatoes, and then I'll just eat that. Just keep it super simple, or just like the steak bites, you know, something like that. Just sort of like I get some protein. Like it's not bad quality meat. It may not be the best.
Our
but it's
salads
like,
look good.
The cran
Are they
apple
good?
is fire. Yeah.
Is the lettuce good? I've literally never had
I
them.
don't know exactly where I mean, obviously, if we get, I think it's Cisco or US Foods. So, I mean, obviously that shit is sprayed and stuff like that. But the thing is, though, is that I think with US Foods, that a lot of their stuff is sprayed on the outside. So, a lot of it can be washed off, which is good. Whereas, other words, there's things where, like, it's like goes into the soil in the ground and, like, it's inside your vegetables or inside or whatever, which is like that's the stuff you have to watch out for because you can't wash that out. It's like in there.
Yeah.
So like I
embedded
wanna,
in.
Yeah, I want to say that it's.
But they taste pretty good. The salads. I mean, they're mountains, dude.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I think we got some pretty good salads, to be honest. Like,
Yeah, that's huge, dude. That's very when you're talking about blue zones. Because I've heard about, like, I've never heard the term blue zone, but I hear about places where people, like, consistently live until, like, 100.
Centaurians.
And and one of the contributing factors I've heard about is that some of these places, like the water at their houses, it's spring water, you know? And, and some of our tap water is just shit.
Trash, dude.
And we have a filter. I used to just drink out of the tap, and we have a filter, like a little pitcher, and it tastes way better. I don't know how much of that shit it gets rid of, but I definitely notice a difference in the taste for sure.
Yeah,
so
we have the Brita too, man. Like when I drink from the faucet, like, well, even when I take showers, it's just like because there's all the fluoride and all the other shit in the water. We're like with the showers, man, like it just dries my skin out.
Right.
So like it's like, you know, it's nice to take a shower, but like it makes me feel so dried out, and like I feel like it shouldn't be like that, you know. And like,
I wonder if there's filters you can put in your shower.
There are like shower filters you can buy.
Okay.
Actually, that's good you said that because I think me and Michaela should get one because like we always like put like oil or lotion on like on our backs and stuff like when we get out, and
it's probably really important. That's
and she has psoriasis, like a little bit of psoriasis, like in the back of her head.
Oh, me too.
And so like when she takes showers, I feel like sometimes like it's just the water and the quality of the water that might make it flare up even more. She has like special shampoo and stuff like that helps
for psoriasis.
She gets it from Italy. It's just like a potassium like shampoo. It's just got like all minerals in it.
Dude, let me know because I think I have scalp psoriasis. Like really dry scalp. So
she gets it like kind of like right here at the base of her neck. It's like a little patch.
Okay.
And like so when it flares up, she gets real flaky.
Right.
And then but then like she like found that shampoo in Italy, and then like you can look at the contents and like everything that's in there. It's
right.
Weird you can't pronounce. and it's it's just all like healthy minerals that just to put onto your skin, and like and for me, man, like it might be gross to some people, but like I probably wash my hair with like shampoo like every 2 weeks. Or something like that. Like
I would too if I could. Yeah. But it's just so dry I have to use Head and Shoulders. But it's So I'd be curious why, because for me, if I don't wash my hair, then it's like thicker, and then it's when I'm styling it, I can do it in like cooler ways. Yeah. But when I'm constantly washing it, it feels like it's harder to like style as nice.
Product, yeah.
You know, is that kind of why?
Yeah, like I mean, obviously, I just threw my beanie on like before I came over here. But yeah, dude, like I just like I mean, if I put like a lot of product in my hair, like I'll like rinse it out like real good, and maybe I'll take a little dab just to help get some of the product out.
Sure.
But like I'm not like scrubbing like my scalp.
Right.
Like, I only give it like a good washing like every like 2 weeks, I think. Because like my hair holds like doesn't like it holds really well, and like it doesn't get like super oily to the point where like starts getting like itchy and like dready.
Right.
So like I probably wash my hair like twice a month. Like actually like thoroughly like wash it and give it like a
well, it's not like super greasy, dude. I just think you have really good fucking genes. I mean, your Filipino grandpa, he clearly has like really good genes, because sometimes people smoke for like 10 years and then they get like lung cancer and then they're just gone in like 2 years. So most of it is like his spirit, obviously, because my grandfather says something that yours does as well. It's he always says working iron never rusts, and
that's good. I like that shit. Yeah.
And my grandpa's never been into exercising, but but when he was a doctor, he would get in 15,000 steps a day, and now he's been retired for 8 years. He's out in the garden. He's going to Costco. When he goes into Costco, he intentionally takes 2 laps around the store.
Oh my god, dude, that's so good.
Fixing shit. He made a bench in his workshop the other day. Like, it's all about just staying moving.
Yeah.
And one of the scariest things I learned recently was that one of the contributors, because, you know, obviously doing drugs and being an alcoholic, that can give you dementia and brain damage and damage your body. But also like sugar. If you drink and eat a lot of sugar, then like I forget the exact details, but basically it fucks your body up to a point where like it starts like damaging your brain. Mm-hmm. So like people, and then also being obese, like that can lead to like dementia.
Yeah. And
it's like, it's fucking scary, dude.
Well, and I think it's too because like people that eat sugar all the time, which actually like I'll use an example with my dad in a second, but because it's spiking up your blood sugar, and then like your body produces insulin, right, to help break it down. Well, it's like when you're constantly spiking it up, your body can't produce enough insulin, right? And it's like, and then like the sugar just starts storing, and then it can cause problems for a while. That's how people get like type 2 diabetes. Yeah. Well, my dad got gout in his ankle.
Oh shit.
And so like basically like they were just saying like it's probably just more diet related. Because he's like really active still. He's still like walking around a lot and like does stuff like that. He likes to ride his bike and everything. He used to be like a big cross country runner, so like he does still like to like move around. But his diet was ass. He's always at like when he's not doing that, he's just on his little love seat, drinking Pepsis, eating Hostess cupcakes and like stuff like that.
They're fucking good.
Yeah, they're good, man. Yeah, don't get me wrong, but like that's just like what he does, you know. And like he's not sweating enough and like getting his heart rate up enough to really like work all that out. Yeah. And so when he got the gout, he like went like a month without sugar, like at all. Lost like 12 pounds. Whoa. Like was like feeling much better. And like I remember, I think it was like Thanksgiving, when he had a Pepsi or like a little like a soda, a Coke or something at like a little like the 8-ounce ones.
Right.
Like he had one of those at Thanksgiving. That was like the first time he like had sugar like in a long time. And I was like, yeah, man. I was like, don't you feel good? Like, I felt like he was just looking better. I don't know how strict his diet is now, but he's like eating much better. He's not eating like as much meat. Like all he was doing was like eating a bunch of sugar and eating a shitload of red meat. And
yeah, like, that red meat can give you gout. I learned that from this chick I went out with one time. Yeah, like one of her family members got gout from eating way too much red meat. That's
and then not like, but also not being able to process it. Like, and when you're just eating that and just fueling your body in with it and just not doing anything as much, like it's just I feel like it's gonna have problems. And like even with that, so like he's never been lactose intolerant at all, but only a couple years ago his body like really started to reject it. So, he takes the lactate and stuff now all the time.
Sure.
But I told him, I was like, dude, if you just, like, cut out sugar for a while and like, got, like, really good quality, like, like, grass-fed, like, organic raw milk.
Yes.
That you can get, like, at Pilgrim's.
Yes.
Oh, I fucking love Pilgrim's, by the way. And, I told him, I was like, yeah, man, just like let your body like process, because you probably you're just constantly putting it in, like your body can't handle it all. But if you were like to just slowly like detox it and like lower amounts, let your body get back to like regulate itself again. I was like, I want to bring you some like real like good raw cheese or some like real good raw milk, and just want you to try it and as an experiment to see if it still upsets his stomach. Because I think it's so random for like a 28-year-old to just like never have any problem with lactose and then all of a sudden become lactose intolerant. And I was like, I think that's just more like with his diet, because like it's not a super, it's not big into exercise. And I've always tried to get him to go climbing with me, but like, I'm only concerned about it because he's my, he's my best friend. Like I want him to stay
he's your
healthy.
brother.
I want him to like, like if he just like were to come with me a little more and exercise more, I'm sure his body would be like way more like accepting to those type of things. And plus, like, I just don't want him to have health issues. Like, he's still, like, a young guy, and I'm worried that,
How
like...
old is he?
So, he's a little bit older than me. So, he's 33. He's, like, almost a year older than me. Like, it's, like, 9 months or something like that. But, but, like, I'm just worried that, like, because, like, Evan's doing, like... So, because it goes back to, like, us three. Because we're, like, the original trio from, like, North Carolina.
Right.
So, it's, like... Evan's doing really great. Like, he still eats, like, pretty shitty food, but he doesn't eat like a lot of sugar. He exercises a lot. He looks good. And he plays drums, and like that is like a really big cardio, man. Like he's always the one that's sweating bullets when we're done practice. You know what I mean? So it's like, 'cause he's like, you got to use your whole body to play.
Yeah, totally.
And so like, I'm glad that like he has that, but like, that's always just going over to the kid's house after work, and like, or and then he just works and all this other stuff, and like, he just needs to move his body more, man. I feel like he'll be totally fine. Like, his body will quickly like go back to normal. But like, I'm worried that like he's eating a lot of his emotions and a lot of these other things, and
that's huge. I mean, that's very common.
Yeah, I just don't want him to have like health problems like this young and this early in life. Like, so I'm always just trying to like get on him on certain things, but like it's from love, not because like I'm trying to be bossy or tell him what to do, but it's just like, bro, like I want you to like to live longer and have a healthy life, and just like I don't want you to have to go through any of this stuff like when you're just so young still. So like that was just one thing though. I was just like I wanted to do that experiment and like bring him some like really good quality, because like a lot of the milk and stuff that's like pasteurized and all this other stuff, like it kills bacteria, well also kills all the nutrients too. That would be good.
And it kills the enzyme that helps you
break it down.
It literally like that's gone. So that's why. And there's like a very true fact that as you get older, you just become a little bit more lactose intolerant every year, because obviously when you're a baby you're only drinking milk. So then your body deals with it very well, but as you get older you just don't handle it as well. My dad's going through that same thing now. He just doesn't drink milk at all. Has
he ever had any like raw milk or anything like that before?
Yeah, when I was in high school, he used to buy it, and I was just so fucking ignorant. I was like, he's like, you got to drink it fast because it expires in like 3 days. I'm like, oh fuck, that's disgusting, dude. Or my grandparents had chickens, and they'd be like, here, eat these. They came from the chicken coop. I'm like, oh, gross, dude. Like, because I just like saw where it came from. Little did I, now I fucking do that. Now I get farm fresh eggs, and it's like, but raw milk is like, it's a big game changer. My roommate, he's an electrician, so he makes like $100,000 a year, and he bought raw milk, and he was like, oh, I feel way better. But then he was like, but I'm not buying it anymore because it's like really expensive. I'm like, dude, like this is your currency. It's like you spend $4 more, and then you get more out of this. This is all you have. You strip away everything that you have. You strip away your degree and all the money you have and everything you've accomplished. Like this is all you have. And all those things are very important. But it's
you
like
have one body, man.
Yes.
Like why like treat it like shit? Like Like and like my brother is like super on the health, like super healthy too. Like he's eating meat again. He was vegan for like 7 years and he did like all sorts of like water. He did a 21-day water fast.
Holy shit!
He did like all sorts of like he really like pushed the limits of like what his body was capable of, which was like really cool to see because like
you learn about yourself.
And I just don't think I'm disciplined enough to like do some of those things. Like he also did like it's called like a master fast or something like that. But basically, he was only drinking like this or whatever they make their own juice, just all fresh cold pressed juice and stuff, and you do
at
that
home.
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, this is also what he does now for a living. He does like the farmers markets and stuff. He makes juice. It's cold pressed, like the best juice. Like it's the same thing with the milk. It perishes really quick, so you have to drink it fast. Except for the lemonades, because the lemonades are a little more acidic, so their shelf life can be like up to 2 weeks. I think. It's like the longest it goes, but like. Yeah, like he did this thing where like you just do that, and I think after like 16 days, and you drink this like it's like he makes this like silicone pudding. It's got all these different like organic minerals and stuff, and you just like swallow it. Helps get all like this shit in your gut, and then like you poop out like this long fucking mucus membrane that like basically everyone has from years and years of just eating like processed foods and stuff. And he like took a picture of it. It's like in the shape of your like intestines. It's all like brown, and he's holding it up with a fork.
No,
and it's like solid. Like it
oh my god,
you can't like just like it's just like it was like this long, and he like
his shit.
Yeah,
oh my god,
he got that out of him from not eating for like 16 days.
Whoa.
Yeah, and like so basically everyone has like at least a little bit of this built up, but like I've been kind of like trying to reset my gut biome with like I've been doing like kombucha every morning.
Yeah,
and, like I'm just like the things I've been eating are a little bit better. I could do better, but I just feel like it just feels good, man. Like I usually when I wake up I'll just like I pour like a 4-6 ounce glass and just drink it, and it just feels good. I just feel like it's just like helping me like digest things better, and stuff like that. But it's just cool to see like people that are like that can be like that disciplined to like like make themselves healthy again, or let's like to see like what your body's capable of. But yeah, dude, diet's huge, man, and like
so big,
and what you put into yourself like affects this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like if you're struggling, and you start like changing your diet, then I feel like it's gonna help you think clearer. It's gonna help you like feel more motivated, and it's like all sorts of stuff.
Well, one thing in closing, you were talking about how like diet like helps you up here, but like one thing I learned that was absolutely crazy, but it kind of makes sense when you think about it, is that how you have serotonin receptors in your brain, obviously.
Yep.
You have more in your gut than you do in your brain. Isn't that crazy? So like it makes sense when
that is crazy. Yeah.
When you eat, so it makes sense when you eat a double quarter pounder with fries, and a big old Dr. Pepper, you're like, I feel awful.
Like it's always good going in. It tastes good. It feels good going in.
For 30 seconds,
and
it's
then,
amazing.
Yeah, and then it goes away. And you're left. That's how it is. That's how my relationship with Taco Bell is. Like I think Taco Bell tastes fucking awesome.
Yeah.
But after I'm done eating my fucking box, I'm like, God damn it. Like we're here again.
Yeah, dude.
Like,
it's a vicious fucking cycle, dude.
That's why I get it now when they say you are what you eat.
Yeah.
Like if you're just putting shit all the time, then you're gonna feel like shit.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm like, I'm really kind of starting to like hop on that a lot more, which is really cool.
Yeah.
So I used to just think, oh man, like I'm good, I'll work it out, I'll burn it off, and it's like it's more than that.
You can't really outwork a bad diet.
Yeah.
To an extent, you can. To an extent, if you're burning so many calories, and it's gonna help you. It's gonna help you get through that absolute shit that you're eating.
Yeah.
But it's like, and one of my favorite MMA fighters, Sean O'Malley, he posted on Twitter one time. He was like, eat good, feel good. Eat bad, feel bad. That's kind of what it boils down to. Yeah, dude, it was an absolute pleasure having you on. Absolute pleasure, man.
Of course, man. Yeah, anytime, dude.
Ladies and gentlemen, episode number 2 of the Verbal Journal. We're out.